pain in the ass, this John. I tell you, he's the only guy he's the only... I don't know what he's doing back at the studio. He's the only guy I have a problem with.
What's the problem?
You know, Artie has never called me at home. You never call me at home. Fred never calls me at home. Only guy who always has something he needs to talk to me about is John. Stuttering John. He's definitely in the Jackie category. Jackie always had something.
On the phone.
I'm going to need to talk to you about something. You know, they're asking me to do something, and I got a problem, and he can't figure anything out for himself. Looking for a daddy, you know? Mm. No, so I get a call from Stuttering John on my home machine on, like, I don't know, Monday.
Oh, of the stupid.
So I get the call Monday, and he says, can you call me back? Calls like twice. Can you call me back? Now, the reason he calls twice, I called him back immediately.
Uh-huh.
I don't blow people off. I called him right back. He's got phone numbers.
You can't find it.
I call the number I have. I get a machine. Hey, this is, we're not here right now. And have a great holiday, says. Have a great holiday. I think, what is it, Simchas Torah? What holiday? So, I guess it's an old message or a joke of some kind.
Well, maybe it's his phone that he lost. You don't know what you...
I don't know what I'm calling. So then I hear the beep, and it goes, bop, 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 bop. Message is full. Message is full. So I go, what is this guy?
Yeah, he's aggravating you when you try to call back.
I mean, leave the proper number. The number he left me is he's not there, and there's a full machine, empty machine. So I just said, I'm getting aggravated.
Yeah, of course.
I have to hunt him down now? So I forgot about it. I just said, screw it. I'm not calling him.
Right.
I don't even care what it is.
He should make it easy.
Make it easy so people can get in touch with you. But he can't. He's a baby. Everything is done for him.
Oh, I could tell you a story.
Well, I'll give you the end of mine and tell me yours.
Talking about a baby.
Yeah, he's a baby. He just literally can't do a thing for himself. So I was getting annoyed, and I just said, forget it, release it. So then Laura, my assistant, gets calls. John, now Laura's calling me for John. John needs to speak to you. He says you're not returning his calls. And now I'm going insane because now I've got to call Laura, hunt down the guy's number. My machine, you can leave your number.
Right. Why he can't do that?
I don't know. He doesn't know. He doesn't even know that his own number is wrong. He leaves a number.
He doesn't know the number you should call.
He doesn't clear out the messages, so you can't leave a message.
I'm telling you, you got the lost phone.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's my fault, but he's still giving out that number. So I'm going berserk because, you know what? I'm just going berserk.
Yeah.
I got a million things going on in my life. John has no clue how friggin' busy I am and what's going on in my life, especially post-divorce. You know, there's always problems and, you know, all kinds of stuff going on in my personal life. Trying to keep that together. And I got this yutz. He's got a problem. Take care of your problem. Call Gary. That's what Gary's there for.
We got a problem.
So I get the message from Laura. I call Gary immediately. I said, listen. I said, give me a heads up here. This Stuttering John is calling me at home. He's got problems, personal problem. What is it? Do you know what it is? He goes, no, you better call me back and tell me. Sounds good. So I said, do you have a number on the guy? If I wanted to call him, because at this point, I just want to call him.
Anybody know how to reach him?
So he gives me a number. A new number I never even heard.
Not even a number you
I've got 4 numbers. This is a completely new number. I'm crossing crap out of my book.
Well, that is very much like Jackie. Jackie always had a million numbers.
A million numbers. There's no one number.
Remember the East Studio?
Yeah, I'm not that house.
No,
the other. Yeah.
Call Spinning Plates Production, and that call will be forwarded to my
yeah, he's not kidding. He is not exaggerating.
Absolutely. You would call and they say, no, Jackie's over at the office, which is right next door.
Yeah, what is the office? Another dump of a house. Another shanty.
That's my mother-in-law.
Yeah, you know, call my mother-in-law. Who's your mother-in-law? She works for us. But my equipment is over my parents' house.
Oh, wait, my mother-in-law's off. Call Dot.
Call Dot. Because my mother has the equipment in her attic.
And you never knew you'd have so many numbers, you never knew where you were calling.
No, the studio on the south side got flooded, so we had to move all phone trunks.
Oh, you didn't get the house. You got the office. You try to call a number. No, Jackie's not here. He's at home.
No, I'm on the satellite phone.
Yeah, so he's the same way. He suddenly now has
learned that bit.
17 residences. So I get the phone call from Gary. I get the phone number from Gary, and I call. And it rings through, and it's Susanna, his wife.
Yes.
And I'm so irritated at now. I get on and I go, do you know, I don't even say hello. I go, do you know, I'm trying to get in touch with John.
Yeah, you're screaming at his wife.
Because he's got some sort of problem. I said, do you know what the problem is? I said, because I'm going out of my mind here. I said, you got to have a phone number that works.
Yeah, I can't even reach it.
I said, I called the number, and it's been message full for 2 days. So obviously, it's his voice. Yeah. So she starts laughing. And I'm going, she's laughing. It's funny. This is funny to them. I'm the guy he's trying to get in touch with, and I can't get in touch with him. Stupid. Leave me alone. Just leave me alone.
It's not funny.
Talk to Gary. Fun. That's what Gary's... Now he's sidestepping Gary. And God only knows what this is. I mean, who knows what it is? He better have, like, cancer.
He better need a liver.
Yeah, he better need a liver. So, I said to Susanna, have John call me. I'm on my way out to be with my kids. If I don't hear from him, or if I hear from him and I don't pick up the phone, it means I'm busy with them. So what? So I get a message from him. Hello? Goes, I heard you're trying to reach me. I heard you're trying to reach me. There's something I need to talk to you about. I want to do it in person. It'll only take 25 minutes. 25 minutes. I'm like, are you kidding me? I can't stand to be in the room for a minute. 25 minutes? Write me an email. Now I'm yelling at his message.
You're probably banging your phone.
I don't want any problems. I don't want to let Gary handle that. And I know it's going to be, I need some time off. I got offered up. I'm just going to say, you know what? No. No. If you ask me, the answer is no. If you ask Gary, we'll consider it. Don't bother me. Don't ever, ever bother me. Ever. You want to socialize? Fine. Stop bothering me. Because as soon as I start talking to him again, he's got a problem. For 2 days I didn't talk to him. It was perfect. You know, I turn on this Fox News Network. In 5 minutes, they explain what's going on in the Iraqi war. He needs 25 minutes to explain what's going on with him.
1010 says if you give him 20 minutes, they'll give you the world.
Yeah. He wants his... I need 25 to explain my world.
I need to filibuster.
I'm going out of my mind with this guy. Come on in here. Come in and explain to me the 25 minutes. You're killing me, dude.
It's very funny.
It's hysterical.
What number did you give him?
I'm laughing back.
Wait, what number did you...
I gave you all my right numbers. I swear to God.
Then why is it message full?
You called Long Island, though.
But that's what you left me.
No, I never leave out Long Island. I'm in the city. I don't know how...
Plug in a number.
Yeah, that's my that's my city number. I never would plug in. I don't know how that. The only and Howard, I swear to you. Listen, I swear on my life. I just said to Laura that.
Oh, don't say that.
Oh, sorry. I didn't know that.
No, just leave my life alone. Okay, please.
You know, all right.
I got to get you out of my life.
No. Well, there was a problem getting in touch with you before, so I didn't think that you weren't.
I get your messages. I can't reach you. It's impossible. One number, John. One number.
But see, I have two.
I understand. Right. What is it you need to talk to me about?
And I have two cell phones.
Tell Gary what it is, please.
No, I just something personal I want to talk to you about. I'd rather not do it on the air.
Is it going to end in what should I do?
It's just going to be a personal conversation.
All right. Is it going to end in, like, I've got to give you permission to do something?
No, it's going to be a personal conversation.
All right, well, hold it. I just want to know the answer to this question. It's nothing about your business. Is it going to end in...
I don't know what it's going to end like.
No. Are you going to say to me, can I have permission at the end?
No.
Okay. I tell you, I get agitated when I have to go meet with this guy. And I don't have 25 minutes. I just don't have it. I don't want to sit here for 25 minutes and talk to you. No, I don't want to have lunch.
Or have a few drinks.
No, I don't have time. I don't have time, pal. Is this a favor of any kind?
No.
Yeah, I don't want a favor.
I don't
want to do you a favor. I don't even want to be put on the spot.
Is
this going to put me on the spot in any way?
No.
And it's nothing you can tell Gary.
No, I don't. I don't want to. Things can get screwed up that way. I'd rather talk.
No. Gary's good at this.
No.
Do you want bone marrow?
No.
Okay.
Because the answer is no.
Okay. Is it business related?
I don't want to talk about it.
No, hold on.
I have no desire.
No, I'm not.
Does it have
it's
to
just
do?
something that I want to talk to you about.
Does it have
I want to talk to Gary about it. I want to talk to.
Yeah, but you know, a lot of people. You know, Cabby calls me every night.
Yeah, but it's not going to be like that. I promise.
Is it going to be like, hey,
I don't have a gambling website.
ABC called and said they want me to do something, but I'm going to need 2 days off. Okay, I have permission to write a book?
No, it's nothing about
nothing like that? Nothing about business?
It has nothing to do with what goes on in here. And I'm not trying to find out what it is. I'm just trying to find out whether I should be involved. Does it have anything to do with what goes on in here?
No,
it's about you and your kids and your personal life.
It's something personal I want to talk to you about.
All right, but not about business.
It's about you and I.
You want to know if I'm really mad at you? And
no.
I'm fine. Please.
No, it's nothing to do with that. I mean, it's just a conversation I want to have with you and I.
You got to understand something.
I know you've
never been through a divorce, have you? Have you ever been through a divorce?
Not yet.
Right. When you go through a divorce, and you got daughters and everything else, there are issues every frigging minute. Everybody's got issues, and I will be there for my kids to the end of the earth. I will sit and work anything out with them. But you are not my child. I don't want you. I don't
15 years I've been here.
I don't want. Go to Gary, please. And
I don't want.
I don't want to meet with you. That's what I'm saying.
It's not about me, is it?
No.
I don't want to meet with you. I'm telling you in the kindest way. You're not my son. You're not Howard Jr. Fred never meets with me, ever. You know, there have been things about Fred personally that I find out months later. I can't believe the guy.
Years.
The guy hasn't even come to tell me.
I just found out something yesterday.
That's what I'm saying. What did you find out?
I found out nothing.
Well, he wouldn't tell us, but it was a very bizarre...
What?
What'd you find out?
Well, I don't even want... I don't know.
No. Here, I can give you the soft... I'll give you the soft version of it. We somehow got into a conversation about all our lives growing up in the office, and we all started having this contest over, who suffered more as a child. And Fred just said, you know what?
After me and Gary explained our worst traumas as a kid,
Fred just said, listen,
I have you beat, but I'm not telling you what happened.
What did he say?
He says, I have you both beat, and then he left.
He didn't tell you the answer?
He said, I don't even want to tell you, but trust me.
He's told me.
Yeah. He said, trust me, you guys, it's not even in the...
Fred will beat any of you.
Really?
Maybe with the exception of Robin.
Wow.
Robin had it really bad. I was actually thinking about that.
Yeah, I think Robin.
I hope it's not worse than Robin.
I was going to say, boy, oh boy, I got to hear that.
It's right up there. It's right up there with Robin. But Robin always wins that one.
His hands down. That's how crazy the conversation was. I felt good.
My dad checked me for a hernia. That's as close as I come to Robin's story.
How crazy the conversation was. I felt good that Fred told me that I had worse than Gary.
Right. All right. Well, you know what? I don't care. Listen, I bet you have had a tough life, and I bet you there's a lot of pain in your life, and you're looking for advice and counsel. I don't really want to be the guy to do it.
You're not a friend of mine?
No, I'm really not.
Really?
I'm really not. I don't know what you'd call me. I'm a coworker.
All right.
I don't even want to be your boss and tell you what to do. You do that with Gary. Gary's your boss. I'm just a guy on the radio. I'm freewheeling. I'm a dopey disc jockey. Don't ask me anything.
Well, he's a dopey guy, too. I want to tell you my side of a story with John. The other day, John says to me, give me a ride home. First of all, you're taking me home is how he announces it.
Right. Well,
so I'm like, what the hell? I'm leaving right now. What the hell? And as we're going home, he says, do you want to see my apartment? But, as we're walking
I said
down,
you want to take me home.
Wait a minute. Stop it.
You want to make a mortgage payment?
He gets into the car, and as we're driving out of the garage, he goes, I left my bag upstairs. The bag you told him to get so he could organize himself? I left my bag upstairs. All right, so I don't know what that means.
The bag that was supposed to make everything easy?
Right. So I don't know what that means. He doesn't seem to want to go back and get it. He just goes, let's go.
Right.
We go. I find this neighborhood of his. I find a parking spot.
But the bag is supposed to have his keys and his wallet and everything.
You know him. I don't.
Right.
So we park. He says, come see my apartment. So I find a parking spot. Park. We go to the door. John looks at the door. I don't have my keys. And so now
an idiot.
He rings his doorbell. And nothing happens.
Yeah, there's no one there.
He goes, somebody's got to be there. He rings it again. Nothing happens.
Right.
He rings it a third time. Nothing happens.
Right.
Finally, he says, I don't know where she is. Then he
For his
says,
mother, you mean?
Right. Whatever mother.
Where's my mommy to let me in from school?
How dare she not be home when I don't have my keys?
Right. So then, it gets worse, yeah. So then I'm like, ring anybody's doorbell. Get us inside. This is stupid.
The new nightmare neighbor. Yeah.
So he starts ringing the superintendent's bell. The superintendent's not there. Then I ring the neighbor. He rings the neighbor next door. I ring the neighbor down.
Why don't you leave at this point? Why are you still there?
Because now
She's having too much fun.
He's on the street, and I don't know where anybody is who's connected to him.
He's in a real good neighborhood. Nothing will happen to him. No.
So now the neighbor downstairs answers, and we explain to her that he's locked out of his apartment. His keys are somewhere. Let him in. She buzzes us in. We get through the 2 doors.
Right.
And we're standing there looking at the elevator. He needs a key to turn the elevator.
You're an idiot. It's all in your bag, right? But why would you leave your bag?
I forgot.
Wait a minute.
I forgot the bag.
It continues to get worse. So then he looks at me. I don't know what you live on the 10th floor? He says, we're going to have to walk up. I'm looking at him. He goes to the stairwell. That door is locked.
Of course.
So now we're stuck in the lobby. So finally, he says, he gets on the phone and he calls Susanna, his mom. She happens to be getting her nails done. So how dare she get her nails done while he needs to get into the house?
Yeah, but come on, Mom.
So now I got to drive John to the nail salon.
Why are you doing this?
Because I wind up getting stuck in his
You're crazy.
I drive him to the nail salon so he can get her keys and then bring him back home.
And did you go up to the apartment?
Now I better see this apartment. And I saw the 20 floors of the Empire State Building.
Yeah, isn't that funny?
Robin, 60, Robin.
There's my view of the Empire State Building.
Stand on the toilet.
We counted. We actually counted, and it was 60.
Do you want one more little John story, or are we tired of it?
I'm tired.
Can I go after Artie?
It's not long. It's not long.
Yeah.
You might have short, too.
We do a stand-up gig in San Diego last Saturday, right? We all get paid after the gig in separate checks. So we go out to a club in San Diego after the gig. We go home, go back to the hotel.
Yeah.
A bunch of us are standing in the lobby of the hotel just talking. So John's all tired. He goes, I'm going to go upstairs. He leaves. I go, bye, John. I glance down on the lobby floor, and I go, what's that? And it's John's check.
Oh, my God.
It was his check. He would have lost it. I said, John, is that your check? He goes, oh, thanks.
You mean the whole point for being there?
Yeah, the
laying on the floor.
You know, John did a gig a couple of months ago, and he couldn't pay everybody in the gig because on the way home from Washington, he decided he had to urinate on the highway, and he lost the check that he got from the gig to pay everyone. Not just his check, but everybody's check.
And I had to go and insure.
All right, so here's the point, because I have to break. I don't want to meet with you. I don't. I'm being honest. I don't care what's going on. I don't want to know. It's none of my concern. You're a big boy. Take care of it yourself. I don't want to handle it. I don't even want to advise you.
Can't be done in a note, John?
If that's the way you want me to do it.
I would prefer you don't even write me the note. I mean, I don't know why Gary can't be told all of this.
Well, apparently it's not business-oriented, Howard.
Well, it is. Trust me. He's lying. I know it. I can look in his eyes and know he's lying.
He's not fighting back hard on that one.
No.
There's a lot of things I want to talk to you about.
So write the note to your father, John Melendez Sr., or whatever his name is. What's his name? What's your dad's name?
Ralph.
Write to Ralph. Ralph. I'm not Ralph. Truly, you're on the air.
Hey, Howard, you watch the Larry Sanders Show, right?
Yeah.
You know, there was an episode where he wanted to be plugged into the loop.
Yeah. And then Larry goes, hey, get me, you know what, I don't want to be plugged into the loop.
It's an evil loop.
That's an evil loop.
At one point, he's sitting with the black secretary, and he's going, I think you should check your mom into the home.
Yeah.
He's there with Janine Garofalo, and he says to her, okay, get rid of the car, dump the boyfriend, and be nicer to your mom.
Yeah, well, somehow I'm getting sucked into the evil loop.
I got a funny John story, too.
I've been trying to, like, you know, do some nice things, have everyone get together, you know, have dinner together. We had Friday night. I went to John's party to hang out. I go to John's house.
That was fun?
Yeah, it was fun. But now, as soon as I do that, it turns into, we're pals. The worst thing is to be his pal.
All right, how many times have I asked you for a conversation in 15 years I've been here? Come on.
Tons. But now I put you on Gary.
Oh, please.
I don't want to have it. I mean, if you'll write down the exact topic, you know, in a sentence, and I'll determine whether it has anything to do with business, I'm okay with that. And then maybe I'll talk to you. But I need protection in this conversation. A 25-minute conversation about a lot of things.
I said 15 to 20 minutes.
Yeah, I don't want to discuss your career, where you're going in life. I don't even care. I know you might want to even say, can you confidentially tell me if you're leaving in 2.5 years? It might even be something like that. Because I got to make a plan. I don't want to have that conversation with you. You're not the guy to have that conversation with. It's none of your business what I'm going to do. I'll tell you when I'm ready to tell you. I don't even know what I'm going to do. Okay? Does that answer the question?
No,
all right.
whatever.
God only knows, because you know it's going to end in, can I have permission?
Well, you know, it's funny. We were just sitting out there.
And I need time to think about your permissions from now on. I'm evidently not putting enough time in on it.
Yeah, the answer's never yes or no.
No. It's always like, why is he bothering me?
But you know what? We were just out there, and I said, you know, John, Howard's right, because I've tried to get a hold of you. I tried to get a hold of you last week, and you're hard to get a hold of. I said, you got to update your numbers.
I have.
And he goes, I always do. And I said, I called you last week.
Doesn't tell anybody.
No, I said, I called you on your cell phone. He goes, I have 2 cell phones. But I don't think I have the second cell phone number.
Neither does he.
And
You both have both numbers.
I thought you lost one of the cell phones.
No, I have the same numbers, the same phones. I updated with Emery 3 months ago. It's all the same numbers. And the number I called you with was the number I was at.
All I know is I have 3 numbers in my book. One is just a full message. The other one was, doo-doo-doo. That number is no longer doo.
Oh, my.
And then another number that just doesn't even... I got a stranger.
Oh, you got a total...
Yeah, a stranger. Someone I don't know.
Oh, that's funny.
You had a longer conversation with them than you do with John.
Yeah. Well, what can I tell you?
Hey,
I love you. I think you're a great guy. You're the life of the party and everything. But, you know, that's as far as it goes. I don't want to hear your problems. Don't think we're going into that area. It's not good for me. I got so many people with problems in my life, John. And I've got so many of my own. You can't imagine what a burden you become when you ask me to have a 25-minute meeting. All right. So I'm being honest. I'm keeping it real because you're keeping it real. So let's all keep it real.
I'm not able to keep it real
because I'm keeping it real.
hey, Howard, is there a day that Fred might say what that thing is?
Nope. Is Fred's worse than Robin?
No. It's up there, but it's not worse than Robin.
I really hope not.
I'm winning by how much?
A hand.
You win by a finger. Well, you asked for a measurement.
Up to the knuckle or what?
Up to the knuckle. Yeah. All right, look, Robin. Enough of your problems.
I wonder in this room, is there anybody in this room that had like a really happy childhood?
Artie.
No, even Artie. Well, yeah.
I honestly did, yeah. I love it.
Although Artie did finally admit to us a couple of months
But Artie was a crack cocaine addict.
Like, what? How did that
And a gambler.
That's not a happy life.
And a degenerate.
Not when I was a kid.
Artie admitted to us a couple of weeks ago that maybe as much as he loved his dad, maybe his dad should have been more of a dad and less of a pal.
No. I think what happened was something happened that was out of his control. I had a great childhood, but right after my 18th birthday, he fell off a roof.
Well, 18, you're already fully formed.
Yeah, but
talking about
I'm saying, so that's when the majority of my problems started.
Now we're yelling at him because he's not complaining.
Oh,
No, but Artie, you told us that, like, when you were younger, you would get suspended from school and your mother would yell at you, and then your father would give you the elbow, hey, what'd you do?
Yeah, he's a good guy.
It sounds like a great dad. I'd love a dad like that.
If he didn't fall, I'm not blaming him for falling either.
But then again, there's something going on, Artie. Because look, he's fat. That's a big indication of problems. Right. He's eating out of control. I mean, out of control, grossly out of control.
I've curbed that a little.
Right. For today.
Yeah, you're working.
He drinks out of control.
There's the gambling addiction.
Gambling addiction.
Which is clearly, I think you have a gambling problem, except it hasn't become a problem again yet.
Because he's making a lot of money.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Well.
Laugh, funny man, laugh. Okay. Look, we got to take a break.
You hit a lot of nails right on the head.
Right, exactly.
So where does that come from? Some happy childhood?
I had a happy
We're better
childhood.
off.
I had a very fun, sort of blue-collar, nice childhood.
You hang out with us, and we'll tell you how good your childhood was.
All right, I'll tell you. Nothing ever happened to me that was...
Did you finish high school?
I had to go to summer school to graduate.
He had to go back in the summer, but they got the
That's so bad. Maybe they just maybe he had a happy childhood. Just weren't a lot of limits. You know, not a lot of
right.
lot of limits on him.
It was a fun time. A lot of good food. A lot of good
food.
Well, what Artie is saying is his dad was so good he should have lived forever and never become infirm, because then Artie had to fall apart.
I think I went through a time where...
All right, you know what? I don't care about your problems. I don't care about John's.
Can I just have 25 minutes with you? I just want to talk about my father.
Hey, Shuli, I got to go.
Hey, Howard, I just want to let you know, Jimmy Florentine was in town this weekend in Vegas.
Yeah.
And I went to dinner with him and his girlfriend.
Yeah.
His girlfriend is so hot. And
did she touch your penis?
Well, she brought a friend with her, like this stripper chick.
Oh, yeah, we know her.
And well, this is...
And when they were getting it on, let me guess.
Is this that cute Russian chick or something?
No, this is a chick out here from Vegas that they hooked up with, like, I don't know, instantly. Like, these girls are attracted to each other somehow.
Yeah, I know. And then they were doing stuff to each other over dinner, right?
Yeah, and Jim's like, while they're, like, doing stuff, Jim's, like, totally, like, effing with the waiter, like, just playing pranks on him.
Yeah, Jim apparently doesn't get jealous at all.
No, Jim is like...
He's cool.
He's got the best of
You know
both
that
worlds.
Jim's girlfriend's got to travel with stuffed animals?
She does?
Yeah.
She's got to travel with stuffed animals?
Yeah.
She is shot out of a cannon, too.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, she's like a guy. First time I met her, she just took my balls and grabbed them.
She did that to me, too.
Yeah.
By the way, does Jimmy do you a solid, Julie, and invite you into the hotel room?
No.
No, what?
No.
I don't think Jimmy's inviting any men around.
No. Jimmy invites other chicks in.
Help a brother out.
Yeah.
Yeah, what is it, crazy?
I've only seen pictures.
Right. Yeah. He get your own action is what his attitude is. All right. Thank you, Shuli. I got to run, and we got to take a break. We'll be back. We got a big show for you today. John, no meeting, no 25 minutes. How about a what?
Nothing. I don't know what to say.
All right. If you were a high chick, it'd be different.
You were kidding on the air, weren't you?
Yeah, that's what it's going to be now.
You were kidding.
I'm not kidding. I'm more comfortable having this conversation on the air.
Gary, could you leave the room? I want to clear the air.
All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be back right after these
Here's
words.
Gary Garver with Jesse Ventura.
Would you ever...
Yeah, Chauncey. No Chauncey, okay.
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah.
What's up?
Yeah, listen, Howard, how you doing? Long-time caller, calling all the time, and it amazes me how bad of a call screener John is. I mean, he's really dumb. I told him I was calling in for peace, and he really believed me.
Yeah, but why wouldn't he believe you?
How's he supposed to tell?
You know, here's the odd thing. You don't have...
Basically, he's like, oh, okay. He goes, you're telling me the truth, right? Oh, yeah, sure, John, if I'm going to...
You don't have to lie to the guy.
What's that?
You can get through with anything you want. We just want to make sure someone's going to be there and we have their radio turned down. That's the whole idea.
Yeah.
You don't have to lie.
John's got a tough job.
All right, I got to go.
Take care.
That's... The unfortunate thing is you don't have to lie.
John's dumb for listening to you with what your subject matter is to be.
You got us. Yeah, Rob.
Yeah, Howard, have you seen the cover of the Post today?
I sure did. It's sickening. Did you know that they found in one of Saddam Hussein's sort of, I guess it's not a bunker, but like a...
One of his palaces or something?
No, it's like a manning center.
Oh, one of his, headquarters.
Headquarters that we took over.
Wow.
There's a big, giant mural painted of 9/11, the Twin Towers, and a plane right in the Twin Towers.
Yeah.
Big, beautiful mural of that. Anybody doubt that guy financed it?
Even if he had nothing to do with it, just for that mural.
Yeah, just kill him for the mural.
He's got no links to Al-Qaeda, you Hollywood scumbag.
Yeah, come here.
Michael Moore.
Yeah, he's got no links to Al-Qaeda. He's got a painting of it. Like it's...
Robin, what's in the news?
Well, I was just reading all about the life of Stuttering John.
Yeah, I have that article. I meant to get to it today, but we ran out of time.
Oh, I don't know. I looked at it and I said, do you want to handle that or do you? I was just fascinated.
I got a couple of things to say about it if you want to get into it.
Sure, why not?
If I can find my copy of it. Here it is.
It says he's living a good life. Is that the positive spin on it?
I like this. This is one of my favorite quotes. John Melendez. It really says anything can happen. He's talking about his job on The Tonight Show. To be a stutterer and to be the announcer on the biggest and best late-night show that ever was, oh, come on, is just amazing. I'm sitting here in my office right now looking up at a picture of me and Ed McMahon, and that's the job that he did for how many years? Now, wait a second. Let's not get carried away. I mean, Ed McMahon was the guy who announced, but he also sat on the couch next to Johnny.
Right.
You know. Anyway, so he goes, so I guess, I'm skipping around, so I guess what it is that as long as you keep working hard and believe in yourself, things can happen. No offense to John. He was the guy who did not work hard around here.
We were joking around that John had an afternoon show at K-Rock.
Yeah.
That went on at noon, that he would record at 10:30, and he could get home and be in his pool before it aired.
I mean, did he really work hard to get the Tonight Show thing? I mean,
he worked hard at being late once a week.
I let him answer the phones here all morning, which is not the hardest job in the world, and then he would go home.
No, he'd have lunch with me.
Oh,
yeah, that's right. He would have lunch with Artie.
I mean, he had the best job ever here, except it just didn't pay a lot of money. He's got a better job with The Tonight Show, and it pays tons of money.
I'll say this. He was a hustler in the sense that he went on tour and all that shit.
Right. But he didn't work hard.
He worked hard for him.
Yeah.
Like Will was just saying.
Who else do you work hard for?
No, but Will was saying that John would go, I work hard. When I leave here, I go home and I book all those comedy gigs.
Yeah. I mean, he didn't work hard here.
I mean, it's not fun flying to Milwaukee every the weekend.
But he didn't work hard here.
Oh, okay. I don't have a big argument for that.
No.
John didn't get the job on The Tonight Show because he went out and did stand-up gigs. Got the job because he was on our show.
No, nobody saw him do stand-up.
Yeah.
I did a couple times.
No, I meant at The Tonight Show.
And then he does a whole thing in here about what a class act Jay is and all the stuff he gets.
Jay's a great guy.
Jay's a great guy, and Jay gives him this, and Jay gives him that, and Jay gave him $1,000, and you know.
Well, he gave all of his employees $1,000 for every year they'd been with The Tonight Show on the 10th anniversary. And that cost Jay $1.7 million.
I didn't read anything nice about me. Guess what? I gave a job to a stutterer out of college.
Right.
And Jay wouldn't have.
All the guys are coming and telling me stuff because they're all afraid to say it to someone.
What?
But John's rap used to be that he paid his dues because he spent all those hours waiting outside of celebrity interviews.
I mean, after all the questions we wrote down for him?
Well, that was always a weird thing, too, because I think it used to irritate him when you would say you guys wrote the questions.
What's wrong with that?
But you wrote the questions.
Who wrote the questions?
Well, there's a couple of other steps here. He lets people go off and do other things, even with me. I just sold a show to VH1, which was no problem.
Yeah, that's a knock against me. Like, I never kept him from doing anything.
Right.
I just kept him from writing a book about me.
Right.
Let me see him write a book about Jay Leno.
And there are other things that I've been offered, and he has no problem with. He just plugged both my gigs. I had a comedy show in Boston. He plugged the comedy show in Arizona.
Ooh, well, I never did that.
And that's The Tonight Show.
Yeah, I was taking it like it was knocks against me. You know what I mean?
Just an example of how he is. I love to hang out with him. He talks about having been in rehearsal with his wife or something and needing a room in Vegas. And Jay gets on the phone, I guess, and gets him a room.
Because that's the kind of guy Jay is.
A huge suite on 2 floors.
That's the punchline. He says at the end, that's the kind of guy Jay is.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I kind of took it that way, too. Like, Howard didn't do anything for me. You know.
And then there's, everybody else at The Tonight Show is wonderful. There was a lot of angst around here, apparently. He didn't really enjoy it.
Yeah, but, Gary made a great point about that. Like, John goes, there was a lot of angst around here. Now it's such a nice environment at The Tonight Show.
Yeah.
The only guy creating angst was John.
John he created angst. He used to write me about being pussy whipped and, being and he would goof on Artie incessantly. And he would make fun of everybody, and then when you turn the tables back on him, he would get all bummed out. But he created most of the angst on the show, which was fun. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, but it's all right.
No, it's not. Where in that article does he thank you?
Oh, never.
Never. I mean, he's a piece of shit, and this is why. He didn't work hard. He hustled. I mean, he tried everything. He tried acting. He tried music. He
worked my phones. He took calls from stockbrokers.
Stockbrokers made all his money off that. I mean, I like John on some level, but, why can't he thank you?
Because it's I'm the bad guy.
He's so delusional.
Did you ever stand in the way of him doing an album?
No.
You promoted all that crap
He did all kinds of music albums, and I promoted them.
I think the reason why he's not going. No, I think the reason why he's not going overly crazy for you is because he perceives that there's a feud between you and Jay.
There's no feud.
No, and he doesn't.
Oh, between me and Jay.
Between you and Jay. And
Jay's a piece of shit.
But what he even says in the article.
I don't have any problem with John.
He even says in the article he felt really bad that when he got hired over there, you didn't take it out on John, you took it out on Jay. And
why would I take it out on John?
But John said even though Jay never said anything to him about it, John felt bad that he brought this whole cloud over on Jay. And he does, you know...
you know what, John doesn't feel bad for a minute.
And he says, listen, this is a place that I work. I'm not going to make fun of the guy I work for.
It's also like a way to get into more television things and film things for me, because as great as the Stern Show is, you're doing a lot bluer stuff. Like, even in my comedy show, when I was doing a lot of blue stand-up, I had to clean that up.
Right, that's been holding him back. Now he's been on the Tonight Show for 10 years now. How many years has he been there? Like 2 years?
Couple of years. What's happened?
I don't see him on any shows.
I'll tell you the part that...
The only show that has him on is the Tonight Show.
Tonight Show. And they barely have him on.
You're wrong.
He's got other shows now.
Okay, because I spoke to him while he was doing this. He's got Celebrity Fear Factor coming out. He sold the show to VH1, which he told me about, which I talk about in there. It's a show where...
You go and hang out with a celebrity for a day?
No. You surprise people on a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah,
like
he's the host of it.
John's going to be the host. John's going to just show up at your house and hang out with you for the day, like wash your car, take a diaper your kids, that sort of thing. But he sold that to VH1. But the thing that made my jaw drop when I was reading that article was
he had an office?
He turned down doing the red carpet with Joan and Melissa. That he turned down.
He didn't have time. He didn't have time.
He was too busy.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sick.
And as soon as he gets 45 minutes, he'll be able to do corporate gigs. That's what he's working up to.
Wow.
Yeah, just looking to cash in.
There's nothing wrong with him.
I mean, honestly, there's a lot of people who can be complacent.
But to say he had to be blue in his comedy act because he was working here, that's crazy.
That's not true. You're right. But he's definitely a hustler, without question.
Yeah, but there's something slimy about it. Like at the Channel 9 show, he used to sell advertising on T-shirts.
But see, back then he was broke. I don't give him crap about that. But he was broke.
But he's doing it behind everybody's back, sort of. It's just, I've been broke, too. I don't do that. You know what I mean?
I disagree with that.
Ralph makes a point. If you show up on a TV show that I put you on, and I know there's a hard time, you don't show up with a T-shirt with an advertisement on it. You don't, unless you clear it ahead of time.
I think the larger issue is that when I read that article...
But he was always doing things like that.
I think the larger issue, when I read that article, I get it like...
Here's the bottom line. But here's the bottom line.
Yeah.
Here's the bottom line. John got an incredible job.
Yeah.
Think about what this job is. He's making a couple of $100,000 a year. He's the announcer on the Tonight Show. He doesn't have to do a goddamn thing. He worked here and didn't have to do a goddamn thing.
But we broke his balls about doing more.
Right.
They don't break his balls there.
Right. Okay, fine. He got a great job. There's no problem with that. If we sit here and whine, it's just because everyone here is jealous.
I'm completely jealous.
Completely jealous.
Completely jealous. I mean,
and the fact of the matter is, the guy got a great job.
I'm not really that jealous of him.
I wished him well. You're not jealous of him, but you wish him well. He's not a bad guy. He's got his faults like we all do. If any one of us left, we can pick each other apart all day.
Exactly.
The fact of the matter is, my beef was with Leno, who just calls me up and insults my ass right to my face and says to me, you're not paying him a lot of money, I'll take him on, and just a weasel telling me how he's worried about my staff and what my staff makes, and telling me what I should think and telling me what I should worry about. He's a scumbag, and he knows it, and he said to me, come on, you know we're friends, and I said, Jay, we'll never be friends. You're an asshole.
Well, John says, listen, the upside is that I have two icons fighting over me.
I'm not fighting over him. I'm not fighting over John. John leaving, it was time for John to leave. He was a good guy. If he had stayed, he would have had a job here. It was fine for him to leave. I've got two guys here who replaced him that are phenomenal. And let me say something.
He's delusional. Where was the fight over him?
There is no fight over him. I don't like Jay Leno calling me up and telling me what I should think. It's not about John. Jay Leno is pompous, and Jay Leno is arrogant.
Jay handled that very poorly.
He did, and I was with John in Atlantic City when he got the job, and I said, John, I don't have a problem. Why would you be? I'm happy for you.
Wait, Ralph, hold on, because I want to address something that's in the article. Why won't you hang out with him anymore?
I don't hang out with him. Here's what happened.
When he called you, he came to New York and said...
His wife was friendly with Beth.
Okay.
And which they still are.
Right.
They speak all the time. His wife. When did I ever hang out with John?
Okay, I'll tell you.
We used to have him out to the house. We had a lot of people out to the house.
Did you never go out to... Okay, I can tell you one night I was at Nobu, and you and your wife and Beth and the Osborns were at the next table.
Yes.
So if John called you and said, why don't you go out to dinner with him?
John never called and asked me to dinner.
He says he did.
No, he didn't.
Well, he says he asked you to go out in Vegas. He called you when...
I was with him in Vegas.
You went out to dinner with him?
Oh, no. I was with him in Atlantic City.
The Vegas trip we took as a show after he left. He happened to be in Vegas that same week.
He never came over to me.
He said he called and you never returned his call.
And let me ask you something. How many times have you heard John say the whole time he was working here, he called me and I didn't return his call?
1,000,000 times.
Exactly. When do I sit and return John Melendez's calls?
Right.
I'm not really looking to hang with John Melendez.
Direct question. If he called you this weekend and you weren't busy, would you go out to dinner with him?
Absolutely. I don't have a problem with John. Listen, a narcissist wants to think people have problems with him because then people are involved in thinking about him. I don't spend a minute thinking about John. John's a nice guy who worked for me. He was funny as hell. We had a great time with his stutter. I don't care that he left. I don't want to hear about this anymore. I told him the day he left, I'm happy for you. It sounds like a great deal. Go and be well. But my problem was with Leno. Was John a guy who was always trying to play the angles? Yes. Did I like reading in a book that he was busy with IPOs and stock things, answering my phones? I didn't like it. Did I occasionally correct him when he tried to sell books and stuff that involved something in my name? Yes. Did I stop him from doing any other projects? No. Did he put out record albums? Yes. Did he use the show to promote them? Yes. Did he go and do comedy shows and did I promote them? Every single day. I had no problem with the guy. I was with him in Atlantic City when he told me about this. I got on the phone and I said, hey, John, great deal for you. Going to really miss you. I hate when anyone leaves. That's good. But,
me and you had a conversation about it in Atlantic City. You called my room. I remember we talked about it. And your focus was always on Leno, never John. You were like, it sounds like a great deal for John. It's great, but I think Leno handled this bad. And you know what? You're 100% right. He did. He treated you like some St. Louis DJ or something.
Leno, I was a guest on his show. I always went on The Tonight Show. Leno was the type of guy who I told you stabs people in the back. It's the same thing he did to Letterman. Leno is a guy, when Rosie O'Donnell's show pulled off one of the Tonight Show's people, Rosie took and hired someone, Leno blew a shit fit. And so for him to say he doesn't know what I'm talking about, the fact of the matter is two things about Leno. A, he's got to fess up. Walking Jay outside, or whatever the hell he calls that bit, is my bit. Yeah. He's taken 20 bits from this show. And, okay, lots of people do, but fess up. Don't tell me you got it from Steve Allen. He's lying. He knows he's lying. His whole goddamn staff knows he's lying. He stole material from this show. His signature bit is my signature bit, and he knows it. Secondly, and I'm not being Bob Levy here.
And they got some guy, Ross the Intern. You never heard of the Intern kind of people.
Whatever.
You know?
Absolutely.
Secondly,
that's true.
And my major beef about this, forget about my material. Everybody steals my material because I'm a fucking genius. The second problem I got with the guy is, because I can come up with more ideas than he can forget.
He better not steal me.
Yeah, because he marked the bagger.
JLF Ed the bagger.
I saw Kenneth Keith Kallenbach on there the other night. But the fact of the matter is that the real problem I have is the guy's taking away someone from my show. He knows the guy's a prominent member. Don't tell me some lame-ass thing like, oh, I hired him, and I didn't really need to discuss it with you because, you know what, I pay him a lot more money, and you got to let him make more. I go, fuck you. Don't tell me what I got to do.
That's what Leno said. He says, I'm a real bad guy. I'm paying him $500,000, and Howard's paying him $50,000. I'm a bad guy. So to him, it all comes down to money.
Howard, he's not paying anybody anything. The Tonight Show has a lot of money because it's a television show. I'm happy for John. I would never have stood in John's way. Anyone who knows me knows I won't stand in his way.
Wait, John was full situation too. Leno did a bad thing to John. It wasn't up to John to tell you. Leno should have called you the day he thought about hiring John.
Right.
But John, it's not up to John to do that.
John handled it poorly.
John's afraid, though. John had to be afraid. He had to be afraid about
Here's the question.
John didn't do anything
Jay calls you up, and he says, hey, Howard, you know what? This John Melendez that you got, we've been looking at him. I got the ability to pay him a lot of money, and I think I'd like him to have me a part of my show.
Here's what I would have said.
What would you say?
I'd say, Jay, I appreciate you calling me and giving me a heads up. I think John's a great guy. Understand why you'd be interested in him. Let me go think about this, and I'll give you a response. Then I'd go and sit down, and I'd say, let me go talk to my guy. I'd say, John, it sounds like you got a great opportunity. I'm trying to, let's say I felt that he should stay with the show, which I didn't. I think I would have said, goodbye.
But you may have made an attempt.
Maybe I would have made an attempt
to try to get more money and stuff like that.
That's right. Maybe I would have made a counter offer, which could never hurt John, right? You have a choice.
Right.
I doubt I would have done that, to be honest with you. I don't think I would have taken whatever budget we had over at K-Rock and put it into John. And that's the truth. But the fact of the matter is, I could have then called Jay back and said, Jay, I can't match that offer. And if John wants it, and I went to John, and John says he's interested in leaving us, God bless you, and I wish you luck, and I'll see you next time I come on your show.
And there would have been
that's it. But don't fucking call me at my house and tell me, yeah, you don't need him anyway, and I got the money, and you don't pay anybody anything, and you're in radio, we're in TV, and you don't care.
So how do you...
Don't tell me how I feel.
So how do you respond to the one part of the article that I saw that John said was maybe it was for the better that none of that happened because maybe the deal would have gotten screwed up?
It would never have gotten screwed up. When have I ever screwed up a deal for anybody on this show? Ever. When have I ever been less than generous to anyone on this show? You can ask Artie, the newest member of the show, if I ever said to him, the only thing I ever said to him was, hey, could you do the show and film your movie at the same time? Is that possible? And if he had said no, fine.
Actually, you've been the opposite, especially with me. You keep saying to me, why don't you make something? I'll help you promote it. I'll let you give it plugs and stuff. I never do it.
I said to Ralph,
I'm stupid.
I said, I'll back you making a clothing line. What do you want to do? I mean, there's lots of people that I would be generous with.
Well, he does
John
say
included.
you sent him a present for his new baby.
Of course I did. And the fact of the matter is, I don't have any animosity. But to be honest with you, John is not one of my best friends. I don't have a lot of friends.
I mean, like you said, like my DVD sold really well. I'm not delusional about why it did. I'm on the show. I mean, if
I say to you, don't make a DVD?
No, I said if I was on the Norm Show for 5 years, I probably wouldn't even have got a deal to do one. It's
the day Robin came to me and said, hey, I'm going to be doing a television show, I was nothing. I'm so happy.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that she could get something going, like on the level of a syndicated television show, I would do anything to support it.
Well, I don't think that's happening.
Well, so what?
Well, didn't Robin say it's not happening?
Right now it's not. That doesn't mean I can't go with another company and do it again if I want to.
Okay.
That's not allowed.
Oh, sorry.
One shot only.
Oh.
But I agree with that. I like John a lot. I think he's a good guy. But where I agree with Ralph is if you're going to put out an article like that, you should say to the writer, look, man, before you publish anything, I have to thank Howard somewhere in there. I mean, it's a long relationship.
Well, it's not a great article in terms of what I'm reading there, but I'm telling you the God's honest truth.
But it's not shocking. You expect that kind of behavior from John.
You don't expect John to be awfully grateful. No.
What is it in, Robin? Where is
Arizona
he was
Republic.
in Tempe, Arizona, so
Howard, you know what? I don't care where he is. He should have a sign that says "Thank you, Howard" on his head.
What bums me out is that John and I spoke.
The Howard Stern show gave him a life.
Yeah,
and he got a very lucky break.
He got
on
a very nice life out of it.
That's right.
And you think on some level he should be grateful, but he's not because he thinks he's so special. He would be there anyway without you.
No, he does. He's delusional. Yeah.
What bums me out is like I saw John in late November. And I had said something on the air that bummed him out, but it was like I believe John should have come to you. I believe John left you the wrong way, and I don't mind saying that to his face.
Yes.
He gets really bummed out, and I said, listen, when Jackie left...
Well, because he sits around with Jackie and Billy West, and they all sit there and bitch about about me.
I told him when Jackie left, you were still friends with Jackie, but you went on the air and you said you thought Jackie was wrong, Jackie made a mistake. What's the difference with what I'm saying? I could still be your friend and tell you I think you handled it the wrong way.
Right.
But it doesn't fly that way with him.
No, John doesn't understand that he handled it poorly. I know you don't blame him, but he did. He handled it poorly, but that was his operation, MO anyway.
I'm used to how John handles things, and John...
It wasn't shocking.
John wasn't my issue. Jay Leno's my issue.
But don't you think
you want to know something? It shows you what a man I am. It doesn't help me not to be friendly with Jay Leno. Certainly could use going on the Tonight Show from time to time. It would be a lot of fun and all that stuff. But you know what? I stand up. Same thing with Leslie Moonves. Most powerful man in television. Fuck you, asshole. And I'll say it over and over again. I don't care if I ever work again. If you become the goddamn emperor of the world, I will not bow to you.
Now, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
I don't care. I won't bow. I won't bow to Jay Leno. I won't bow to Leslie Moonves.
By the way...
I don't care. Doesn't matter to me. I'd rather have my dignity.
The funniest part of yesterday's interview with Dice, by the way, just as an aside, was Dice was the most irreverent guy in the world. until you started talking about skull-fucking Mancow's father's head. And watching him squirm was the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Now, don't go there. Not with me here.
I have a different line. You send a box of human excrement to one of my interns. Yeah, dude, I'll skull fuck your father. All right, I'll dig his body up.
All right.
I'll put my skinny, nothing penis into his eye socket.
Don't do that. When I'm gone, you do that.
Yeah, well.
Oh.
All right, well, let's move on.
That's my friend.
I got to do the news because I do have to get out of here.
Let's talk about Richie Sambora and Heather Locklear's divorce. I don't know. I mean,
stopping by. I think Fred's going to make his way over in a little bit. Ralph's stopping in. Will's over here. Plenty to talk about. And let's start with, well, the way the show ended with that whole Stuttering John conversation. I mean, did any of that surprise you guys? Was that...
No. I mean, these are conversations we've been having in the office for a while. Ralph hates John, or at least it comes across.
I don't hate John. I just hate his attitude and this, like, he's entitled and he deserved this and he was going to be there with or without Howard. That's what comes across. And you know, John was always scheming in the back.
Yeah,
and always, you know what I mean? And picking up he was always up to shenanigans.
My issue with the article was that I thought that Howard was almost an asterisk to John's career, as opposed to the first 15 years of it. And I was saying to somebody earlier, it bums me out that you can't, if you don't give John unconditional love. Like, I like John, I really do. I still like him, and I still like to hang out with him. I'm pretty sure after he hears today's show, he's done with me forever. And it bums me out because you can say to a friend, I don't like the way you did something, but I still like you. I always said, John used to get on the air and say Jackie was so stupid for leaving. It was the dumbest movie ever made, yet he and Jackie could somehow be friends. I don't know why John can't do that with me.
Well, also that John would sit there and say that that it's a nicer environment at Leno. Meanwhile, he was like the biggest pot stirrer of controversy and problems and everything.
But I did talk about
he caused half the trouble that was going on.
I get what he's saying in that respect because I did talk to him, and when he says it's a nice environment, meaning there's no controversy on that show. John goes in, got a great office, got a closet full of Armani suits, got his own parking space, has an assistant. And he jogs during the day. He gets up, he goes over there, he tries to write a few jokes. He goes, he puts on a suit, he does his bits. So it's stress-free in the sense of, like, when you walk in here in the morning, any day could be. I mean, there's days I get up and I go, let me go through my Rolodex in my head and see what I could potentially be screwed with for today.
Right.
And then John doesn't have that, so I understand that aspect of it. But you're right. Nobody created more controversy on this show than John.
All right, Gary and Ralph, you guys chimed in. Will, what do you think?
I mean, I'm kind of stuck in the middle. I love John. I understand what these guys are saying. He was, I want to say a user, but yeah, he was definitely trying to exploit situations. But I mean, I think everyone does to an extent. John definitely made it his career.
Yeah, not that John did.
But I don't blame the guy for leaving.
I don't either. I never said, I'm not mad at him for leaving. I'm mad at him for the way he left.
Yes.
I've always said that. He should have absolutely taken that job. Shit, I would take that job.
Right. But
I don't think there's anybody in this room who wouldn't take that job, but it's the way you handle it, and he always handled himself wrong.
Now, how did he personally, what did he do wrong?
I'll tell you. I'm going to tell you right now. He knew he had the job. He knew he had that job for months and months and months, or at least he was trying to get that job.
He was looking at houses.
And he did try with Howard on several occasions.
Bullshit. The offer was made, right? John had the offer made to him. John said, I got to speak to Howard. He goes, go to Gary. He could have easily have come to me and go, Gary, I don't want to give you the details of it, but I've gotten an offer, and I need to sit with Howard. That's all I would have needed to hear to get John in.
John wanted to be turned down.
He did.
Because John had many times come to Howard with stupid things, and like I don't want to. And Howard's like, I don't want to hear this, But this was not. John knew what this was.
So what do you say?
Howard claims that he would have let John go had he asked, and I actually don't believe that. I mean, I know he wouldn't have said like outright no. But I think he would have spun it in a way where it was like, this guy, it bums me out if you take my guy. Isn't there anyone else out there?
You don't work for somebody for 16 years and not tell them you're leaving. Yeah.
Well, he didn't want to jeopardize that job.
Well, then be upfront and tell us that. He's spinning it a whole different way. He wants it to have it both ways. He should have said up front, you know what? I enjoyed working with you guys, but I got this great opportunity, and I was sort of done. And, yeah, I didn't tell you about it because I wanted it.
Well, I don't
He's making up a whole other story.
Yeah, but he didn't want to discourage Jay from saying no to the job offer.
Well, yeah, but he owes Howard the right of first refusal.
Yeah, but John, that's John. I mean, he's always thinking about himself first.
Right,
but
that's what my issue was.
That's why he's wrong.
That's my specific issue.
But there's a lot of people that like that. Okay, if your family comes before the show in some senses,
Sure.
right? So if you felt like a great job opportunity was going to be jeopardized by discussing it with
But
your
he
coworkers,
wouldn't have the job opportunity if it wasn't
Okay,
for Howard.
I understand
completely right. But that's
I understand what Will's saying. Hold on a second. So there's two levels of this. I'm saying that he should have done it that way, and he didn't. And you're saying, hey, he wanted to get the best job he could for his family. So the second aspect of that is I'm saying, okay, then just be up front. Don't make up this whole bullshit story about, I could have said, like John doesn't want to say, I was taking that job. You guys could have countered me with any amount of money. I was taking that job.
I don't know about that. If he had been offered the same amount of money, which, I mean, obviously was impossible.
I don't think so. I think that John said, West Coast, great money, better quality of a show in his estimation, no angst. Hell yeah, 2 hours a day. I'm taking the job.
Well.
And I think that's what John saw. And if he would just be upfront about it, it'd be fine.
Yeah, that's the problem I have. And not thanking Howard on any level for it.
It does bum me out that he'll never come on here and kind of talk about it and,
Dude, we're looking at the back of his ship sailing away.
I know.
All right, we got to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the first evaluator segment that's happened at Sirius since Howard's been here. Also, how can we not talk about Mark the Bagger? And later on, Howie Mandel and what some of us are willing to do to get a big TV in our apartment. You're listening to the wrap-up show on Howard 100 and Howard 101.
You're listening to the Morning Wrap. We're back with the Morning Wrap-Up Show. Call Gary and John now at 888-STERN-100. That's 888-STERN-100.
Welcome back to the wrap-up show. Still talking about John. Brent, you're on the wrap-up show.
Yo. Hello?
Brent, you there?
I always think it's Brent from Bubba's Show calling.
It is.
Oh, it is?
Bubba loves lunch.
Yeah, Matty, you come on.
Bubba loves lunch.
Brent's coming. All right, we
Hogan's calling
having
in.
a problem picking Brent up. Give me 1 sec here. Then we're going to talk about the evaluators and their first efforts here. Leroy in California, you're on the wrap-up show.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
How you doing?
Good, man. I hate when you guys pick a great subject, man, and you don't spend enough time on it. And that was the Stuttering John subject.
Well, tell us where you want us to take it, because I'm willing to go back to it.
We have the number one hater in the studio now.
Fred Norris is
See,
here.
this is where everybody is wrong. I do not hate, I will go on record, I do not hate Stuttering John. However, I do feel that everybody's romancing his past. Everybody forgets what a little dick he was.
I'm not.
It's funny, because I was just talking to Jason Kaplan about that. And because I was in there talking to Sal and blah, 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 and I was trying to make up with him from yesterday. I said, listen, I know I said you're like Stuttering John, but you're not like Stuttering John. It's like, you're funny. Stuttering John is not. Anyway.
John can be funny at times.
When? Name one time he was fun. When he's not stuttering, when is he funny?
The interviews he did were great, even though you wrote them.
I got questions for him.
And he was
a robot.
When he would needle people, he could be very funny.
When he harassed Gary, like that was his forte, getting under Gary's skin, and it was always fun.
Well, maybe not for Gary.
No, but I mean,
for everyone else, though.
But it's funny because Sal told me, like, I found out things about John after he left that I didn't even know. Sal was telling me, John was the keeper of the gate on the phones. What Will does, the phone screener. Sal told me that he called in one time and he said something negative about John, or not even that negative, but John took it as negative. He put Sal on 2 weeks probation, not taking your phone call for 2 weeks. Marianne from Brooklyn told me the same thing.
Yeah,
he put her on probation. He would if you.
Here's a case in point. This ties in with that too, because it was something that I mentioned later on. We kind of circled around and went back to it. John was so good at setting everybody else up, with putting I'm an asshole stickers on their back kind of thing.
Right.
And that was funny. But then Scott did one thing to him where he, this is of course after he got the Tonight Show job. He says, I have his audition tape. He says John still won't talk to him.
Oh yeah.
He's still angry.
John
could dish it out, but he could never take it. And the one thing I always present about John is he always says, Fred's got a attitude towards me, which I never did.
Well,
but that makes me question what his problem is.
I think he's still mad at you for a variety of things, but one of the things I think he was angry about was you put that thing in the email that said, I heard Stuttering John bought a house in L.A.
What does he want me to do?
Which he unequivocally denied.
Jesus Christ.
And he lied about it. He lied.
And the thing is, he had the opportunity right then and there to either say it's true or it's not true. I mean, what was I going to do?
It wasn't only that. John felt that all you did was post negative email about
Well,
him.
see, there you go. And that is so not true.
Every one of us on the show.
He would remember all the bad things I would say, but he would never remember the stuff that I put in where it said John was good.
I get a lot of negative email. Where's it come from, Fred? I don't sit there and go, Fred, I'm not delusional. People are writing these emails.
It's a scary
of course,
thing.
Maybe you could find a positive one.
But I try. I really do try to find it. It's like sometimes I feel guilty. I go like, I should really type under a different name. But I mean, John Hein and I have been speaking about that. That's one of the things. Like, everybody's on the front or whatever, and they say, I hate Ralph. I hate Ralph. I hate Ralph. I don't hate Ralph. I think Ralph is actually very funny. But John's going like, geez, what do we do? What do we do? Blah, blah, blah. Because you got to go with what your strengths are. Ralph adds something to the show. I think he's funny.
Let me chime in on that, because the other thing about the I hate Ralph email is a lot of people say, oh, I hate Ralph. I hate Ralph because he's on the show.
I think they do it just
as a bandwagon.
Exactly.
It's like, and I find the absurdity of it is where everybody gets on this bandwagon and they want to beat it to the ground. And I just find that funny.
It's like saying you hate Hitler. You just do it because everyone else.
And by the way, I want to go back to something this morning where he was saying that Bin Laden shouldn't have a TV show. What kind of car do you drive, pal?
I drive a Mercedes-Benz.
Thank you very much. Who will be fighting in World War II?
Okay, time has passed.
I win.
Time has passed.
Oh, when you fill up with gas, do you fill up with gas every day at the gas station?
It happened
Who does that money
years ago. 9/11 was 4 years ago. There's kids who haven't grown up yet with their fathers are going to see this boy
I'm
with a
just
TV
saying,
show.
she had nothing to do with it.
I agree, but fuck her.
That's another show.
And Fred, I got to go back to one thing, because it's funny. All of us here feel when we take crap in the email that you're out to get us. So there was a period. I can tell you a funny thing.
I always feel bad because, I think there's a thing that's always a misunderstanding. Like John, I think this is what it goes.
I
think this is what it comes back down to too, because John would always reveal little things like little farts that come out of like the tub or something like that. It's like there was one time he came and said, my mother hates you. I go, what? My mother hates you because you make fun of me. And I go, wow, Jesus, it's like 10 years after I've been like fucking with you. It's like, now you're going to reveal this shit?
Well, it's funny because there was a period of time last year where I felt that every single day you were putting in. I'm very sensitive about my weight. Listen.
Hold on, let me finish the story. And I began to get that picture. I'm going like, Jesus Christ, like Gary really thinks that I'm out.
So am I, by the way.
So the funny thing was, I was
you should be, Artie.
I was sure that Fred was putting in these emails every 2 weeks about my weight just to fuck with me. Right. So to prove my point, I went back in one day and I decided to look at all the ones he sent. And you know what? It was like 2 in like 6 months. But in my mind, it was 20 in a month.
See, that's what everybody remembers.
That's how you remember it. The ones that sting.
Right.
But I always find it funny, like the negative emails, like somebody will bring up something, and a lot of times I'll put it in because I go, this is the most absurd notion. This is the one thing that this person sitting in Kankakee, Illinois decided, focus on. That day, it was like, Gary scratched his ass and did something, and it's crazy.
I love when Howard gets to the email and rattles off like
Leroy.
Leroy, you still there? Oh, we lost Leroy, but he got his wish.
Did we talk about John
quite a bit? We got to take a break. You're listening to the wrap-up show on Howard 100 and Howard 101.
What are you doing? This is Andrew Dice Clay, and you're listening to John Henn and Gary Dell'Abate on the wrap-up show. John
Cluck, friggin' cluck.
The respect I get from Dice. Too great.
I think it's
nice to meet you. Who are you?
I think it's better to have your name said wrong than to have Artie go into that plethora of big ass fag John jokes. He'll fuck you in your big fat ass.
Don't forget Geek as well. Welcome back to the wrap-up show. Fred's here. Will, Ralph, Gary, John Henn. 888-STERN-100. That's the number to call. Let's go to, I agree with Leroy. I think we should talk about John a little bit more. Let's go to Charlie in Jersey. Charlie, you're on the wrap-up show.
Hey now, guys.
What's up, Charlie?
What's going on, guys? Listen, I used to work for NBC a couple years ago, SNL. I went out to Burbank, and I got to talk to John because I know Beth from SNL, Beth McCarthy. I talked to him a little bit about everything. To a certain extent, he didn't know comment, but he did speak about Gary a lot. And Gary, he loves you, man. He said you're the only one who really had his, had his back.
No, we got along great, and I'm not having John's back. And here's a funny thing: the fact that we're still talking about this from the show to the after show just sort of shows. I mean, John had a great importance on the show. You know what I mean? If he was a nothing on the show, we wouldn't be talking about him. But I did have his back, and I do consider him a friend. But you got to be able to criticize a friend,
right?
Absolutely. No, he's like, he said, like, a lot of times he's to bust your balls in the air. a lot of it was like kind of like harmless shtick to a certain extent.
He gave me a lot of crap. I got to tell you, I've said this before. My life got a little bit easier when Jackie left. It got a lot easier when John left. When John left, John really, cut the legs out from under me all the time, whether it be with the interns in the office or the people who worked in the office or just making me look like a fool. And even with my marriage, he was making my marriage miserable.
For a lot of people,
a dark cloud lifted.
No, for a lot of people, that was a highlight of the show. I mean, you looked forward to John messing with you,
right?
And he raised the ire of everybody in the studio. And as a fan, I'm not saying he was the most talented guy, but you always look forward to what the hell is John going to do next.
I'll tell you one of the funniest moments.
But do you miss it? I mean,
yes, I do miss parts of it. I do. Yeah. There's no doubt. One of the funniest things John ever did on the show, we did the night of the MTV Awards. Remember, we did a drinking show, and John started talking to Bob Dylan's son, and while he was talking to him, the beer was just spilling down the back of his neck. Not on purpose. John was just leaning over, and he's like, "Could you sing this song?" John was all drunk. I mean, he would be funny. He's a funny guy.
I think John was angling for that Jackie's chair.
Oh, he
and
definitely.
When that didn't happen, I think he was kind of like, all right, it's time for me to move on. I'm not going to be a phone screener for the rest of my life.
I think that's exactly what happened. I think when Artie got the deal, it was kind of like, I have to go to Leno.
How long after that was the I'm a Celebrity thing? I mean, what was the time that passed?
No. The I'm a Celebrity thing was before the Leno thing.
And that was another thing. That was another thing he handled wrong. He said he was going to be gone for a week. He wasn't sure, and he was gone like 3 weeks.
I said that the other day. It was like we were having a discussion about that. He came in the studio, and I remember, because I have a pretty good memory about that stuff. He said, because Gary was kind of speaking on his behalf. He says he's going to be gone for 2 weeks. And Howard goes, "Is that right, John?" He goes, "Yeah."
Yeah.
But then it ended up being 3 weeks.
Here's the other issue I had with that.
Everything with him was gray area.
John went out and got an agent, and he sought out that I'm a Celebrity, get me out of here. Let me tell you, any one of us on the show could have done that. I could get myself on a whole bunch of other shows. Howard sort of made it clear that he was not all about that he didn't like us going out. And maybe that's what John was referring to in the article where Jay supports him and everything. Mm-hmm. That's the way that Howard likes it. So I always thought, like, well, gee, I could have gone and got myself on a show and made $100,000, and it made me jealous that he got away with it.
And of course, America fell in love with the sweet John Leno.
Yeah, who was that guy?
That was the other thing that kind of like it's like revisionist history. It's like when Jay Leno, and it has more to do with what it does with John. You go, yeah, I like John. He's a nice, sweet, lovable guy. He's a peacemaker. He was a fire starter on this show. He got under everybody's skin. So I mean. Did he watch that I'm a Celebrity, get me out of here? Did he not bag on Bruce Jenner day after day, hour after hour, week after week? So where this peacemaker thing came from, I have no idea.
As a general rule, he was good, but it's interesting because I had an appearance in L.A. the weekend that Friday night that John did the Leno show, which is apparently was the genesis of this whole Leno thing. Leno loved him so much as a guest on the show that he had to have him for the show.
I think it was also, as somebody pointed out, if it was Howard or somebody said that the writers were such fans of this show, they really thought that he was kind of like the cornerstone of a lot of important stuff. And he very well may have had a part of that, but not quite as important as John thought he was.
My favorite part is when he would cry for not seeing Susanna over a week. I was like, isn't this the same guy that put his wife on a treadmill to lose weight after her first pregnancy?
Isn't this the guy that, this is like, there's crime in Manhattan. He says, go walk the dog. Yeah. And it's like 11 o'clock at night in a rough part of town. Go walk the dog.
Joe, you're on the wrap-up show.
Hello?
Hey,
Joe.
Hey, what's going on, man? Yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know that John's a total dick, man. If he would have left up on... If he would not John, if he would have left off with good terms with Howard, I feel that Howard's a good enough guy to let him back on the show if Leno would have booted him. Oh yeah, by the way, you better watch out. I think Leno trying to get the bagger's number too. So.
He's the bagger. You're not too happy on the Howard Stern show. Man, put you in the band.
Now we should make something clear because if I understood that caller correctly. He implied that, you guys haven't reached out to John to get him to come back on the show.
I've reached out to him a bunch of times, and I think the feeling is that John feels that if he came on the show, even, I tried to get him to come on the intern show just to call in, I think the feeling is that he would be put in a bad position to maybe, even if he doesn't say anything, we'd be goofing on Jay, and for him to be a party to that. Well, and I get that on some level.
He's very protective of that part of his world.
And I would expect the same out of him if he worked here. I wouldn't expect him to go on somebody's show who doesn't like us.
Right. He's paying the bills.
What he doesn't remember is that he wouldn't be on the Jay Leno show if it wasn't for the Howard Stern show. So if you ask for a favor, you do it.
But why would he wreck what he has?
At this point, who's signing the checks?
Yeah. Right. Well, I mean, it doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me. But again, it's wrong.
Tim in Orlando, you're on the wrap-up show.
Good morning, Mr. Delabate and friends, not Ralph.
Thank you. Can we go back to the part where Fred thinks I'm very funny?
I do think you're funny.
Tim, what's on your mind?
You're all right, Ralph. Hey,
See, I told you.
yeah, John was good. You know, John's gone, and I think we kind of put a little bit too much of the limelight on him just by keep talking about him. You know what I mean?
But there's obviously an interest.
See, now we're going to disappoint Leroy because now we're going to curtail this discussion.
A lot of our calls that are up on the board right now are asking about it, and people seem to want to talk about it. Maybe it is too inside for us.
I don't think there's any doubt in anyone's mind here, though, that the show definitely got better when Sal and Richard came as opposed to when John was there.
But see, you can't. But see, here's the thing, and John would kill himself to hear that. Except there's no comparison. Meaning, Sal and Richard, they didn't replace John. John left, and they got here. They do they serve an entirely different function.
It's different. Apples and oranges.
They do, but it's true. But you couldn't have one without. Those guys would not be here if John had continued.
That's true.
As a fan, I'll tell you, Sal and Richard injected an energy into the show that, I mean, it needed, I thought. I mean, the show, you know, as good as it was at the time, after John left, those guys are crazy, and they bring just another level, and everybody seemed rejuvenated once they came in.
But it's the same thing with Jackie. I mean, I loved him. I thought he was really funny at times. There's certain things that went on that don't go on now, but I love Artie. But he's different. You know, Artie's way different than Jackie. Artie is just Artie, and nowadays, I mean, Artie is just on fire. I mean, he's just killer.
Yeah, I mean, Artie definitely has evolved into such an integral part of the show.
He's comfortable.
But it didn't matter who was in that chair. Anybody who wasn't Jackie wasn't, you know what I mean? It was like you're not Jackie.
Right.
I'm not going to like you because you're not part of the show.
Now, there's a case in point going back to the email stuff. When Artie first came on, I got so many, I hate Artie, I hate Artie, I hate Artie. And then you started to see the tide slowly change.
You still get the tide going to turn on me.
No, that's what I'm waiting for. Because I'm going like everybody else has kind of gotten at it. It's like, you know, Sal comes in, I hate Sal. Christie comes in, I hate Richard Christie. You know, Artie comes in, I hate, you know, and with Ralph, I don't know, maybe I'll go check in an hour.
Ralph, I like to stay consistent.
But you know what? You relish that role and you play it up. You don't sit around.
Love.
I don't know what you're like when you're laying, you know, when you put your head on a pillow at night. But you don't sit around here, wah, nobody likes me. You sort of like not being liked.
Yeah, no. Like there's been a couple of times where we've gotten some positive calls, and I'm like, oh, well.
Yeah, how do I respond to that?
What do I do with that?
During a break one time in Superfan, Ralph's like, when a really positive call for Ralph came in, he's like, what the fuck am I going to do? Like, why are people hating? You know, but the next call and the next 100 calls took care of that.
Everybody wants to be liked, but if I'm not, if I am, I am. If I'm not, I'm not. Whatever.
All right, we're going to take a break. This is the wrap-up show on Howard 100 and Howard 101.
Hey, let me get Lisa G in here.
All right.
I'm a little distracted now. Wow. Somebody played me an interview that Stuttering John gave on the Adam Carolla show, and I used to have no beef with Stuttering John. Now I think he's a fucking asshole.
What happened there?
He could stay a fucking way from me, a mile away.
Hello.
Hi. He's a douchebag. So he's on the Adam show complaining about how poorly I treated him, didn't give any money. I'm like, you know, douchebag, you're lucky you had a first job in radio through me. I had a first job in radio, too. I made very little money, you know? And I was the star of the fucking show. He answered the phone. I mean, what an asshole. How we didn't treat him right, didn't give him enough money. And then when he did gigs, we didn't help him out. You know, we promoted all your gigs.
What were we supposed to do?
I don't know. You know, like it was the Stuttering John show, and we were there to, you know, make things happen for him.
Yeah, I heard that interview, too. I was, you know, not as upset, obviously, as you, but
you've been upset with Stuttering John since his
and you want something? And
he's delusional.
That's the reason. If anybody ever wants to know why I have a problem with John, that is the very reason right there.
His
and
logic is weird.
Cutting to the core, there is this arrogance that John has, that he feels he is better than, that he deserves more than.
He thinks he's a big talent.
Yeah.
That's the goof.
If there was a beef...
And by the way, if Jay Leno's paying him so much, why is he doing Tahiti Village?
Right.
You know?
I mean, if there was
a beef... What he's up to?
He was, and then he was throwing in... He's always plugging. He's always, you know, he's always got some scam going. Not that Tahiti Village is a scam. I like those guys.
You know, but he was, you know, I mean, even on the Channel 9 show, he had a whole T-shirt thing going. And
everybody else was...
And he's on there saying how I didn't go in and fight for him to get more money.
And everybody else was stupid except him, because there was a comment that he made in there that I was actually upset for Gary. You know, it's like, he never fails to take a shot at, like, Gary, and, you know, like, he's like, well, Gary had to go out and do that stuff, and you know, it's like, and he made it sound like Gary was just
I want nothing
stupid.
I officially am saying I want nothing to do with John. You know, that's it. He just ticked me off.
Well, did you have anything to do with him?
No. But no, he's made overtures. You know, like I saw him, I had no beef with him whatsoever. I was very happy for him. But now I got a beef.
Well, you know, I think I saw some different stuff than you. I mean, he was always on his best behavior with you, but I kind of saw the other stuff.
Yeah, stay away from me.
If you weren't like on the Howard level or the Robin level or the Jackie level, it's like, you know, the disrespect came fast and furious.
Ooh.
Yeah, I've had it with this fucking guy going around bad-mouthing me. Fuck you. You talentless fuck. I mean, really. I mean, honestly, he stuttered. I get a note last night from Bubba's guys. They go, hey, Stuttering John wants to do Bubba's show. Do you have a problem? I go, no, of course not. What do I said, I have no problem with John. John's a friend of mine. He's on there about how I didn't stick up for him. What a fucking asshole. I mean, really. I mean, just shut your fucking pie hole, asswipe. I'm an ungrateful fuck. Here, listen to this. All right. You would have thought he was the star of the show.
Did you ever think, expect, or hope that the boss man would kick something down to you?
I mean, Corolla's got this move of calling me stern.
Something down.
Yeah, but I should pay John personally, you know.
Howard, when you listen to this, did you get the feeling that Adam had some sort of problem as well?
Well, Adam calls me stern. Like, what is that?
No, but, I mean, even the questions that he was asking during this whole exchange.
Yeah,
it made me uncomfortable.
Yeah, me too. And, you know, and Adam's always calling me also about, you know, getting involved in his film and this and that and the other thing. And, you know, what is all that?
And, you know,
none of these guys should call me. None of these guys.
I mean, it kind of shocked me, actually.
Yeah, I'm a little ticked off about this shit.
Well, let me hear it.
Did you ever think, expect, or hope that the boss man would kick something down to you?
Of course, Adam. I mean, listen, you know, I love Howard and all, but my biggest...
No, you don't.
...has always been on that show that, you know, they just don't take care of people financially, and it was...
It was my job to take care of John financially.
Oh, by the way, I mean, the big rap against John with his traveling comedy review, and I think the truth can finally be told, and I don't know if Jim has ever spoken to you about this or not, but other comedians used to come up to me, like after
John didn't pay them.
John got the lion's share. He came out, was Huck Finn, basically said, okay, here's our next comedian. These guys did all the heavy lifting. John took the lion's share of the money and paid them like $100 bucks per person.
Mr. Generous.
And he wouldn't give them good accommodations.
Right.
Or,
so he basically...
He would cheap out on the show.
So here's the bottom line.
When
push came to shove.
We have 50 people working on the show. There's a lot of people who weren't paid well. It was a beginner's job. A lot of interns who wanted to work with us. It's a beginner job. And I'd say to him, I can go to Tom and ask for some money. I'd love to have you around, but it's a beginner job.
Right.
And at some point, you got to leave. You got to understand, it's not going to be a full-time gig. So I get John 10 grand here. I get John 10 grand there from the TV show, this and that, the other thing. And, you know, and then he'd go do appearances, and I'd plug them, and then I got him help get him a radio show at K-Rock. I mean, you know what? I would give my left nut to have my own radio show at K-Rock when I was his age. That don't happen by accident.
He also got a lot of benefits from the show. He ended up getting like a couple of movie roles as a result of being on the show.
You do what you can.
Good stuff.
You do what you can. But this idea that he has, that he was sort of like underpaid super talent, we wrote him a bunch of questions, and he went out on a red carpet and asked questions that we wrote. I mean, that was it. And he answered our phone.
Right.
And I'm all about that. But the thing is that, you know, now to go around bad-mouthing me? No, dude, you were a guy, an intern, who I got a job for. Just say thank you and shut your fucking mouth. And that led to the Tonight Show. So don't be so fucking bitter, dude. I love Howard, but, you know, he doesn't go to bat for you. Don't go to bat for you, man. I went to bat for you more than I go for most people.
There were so many people you were batting for. You look like A-Rod.
Yeah, I mean, there's only so... And quite frankly,
you
look like you were clubbing seals.
No time for the show.
Quite frankly, I thought I was underpaid at K-Rock. You know what I mean?
We all were.
Yeah. Yeah, Ralph, go ahead.
Oh, my God, finally.
Yeah, fuck this kid.
comes out, huh?
Realize what a piece of shit he is, and he has always been. No one fucking forced him to stay at that job. If you're paying him $5 or $5 million, you know what? You don't like it, fucking move on.
Well, that's the other point I want to make.
Nobody was looking to hire that piece of shit.
I didn't sit and say to him, John, I have to have you. I mean, it was like he kept saying to me, I want to be at the show. Can you get me some money? I go, I'll go talk to Tom, and I did.
Wasn't he an intern who should have moved on?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, come on.
I mean, but now it's not, when I worked at WRNW, it was it wasn't even the Howard Stern show. It was, I did a disc jockey shift.
Right.
I made $4 an hour. They weren't going to pay me any more money than $4 an hour.
So what did you do?
So you stayed there for your whole career, right?
No, I made a tape, and I went, and I pulled myself out of that situation.
If you're in radio,
by the way, I never blamed the people I worked for. I said, that's all they had for me.
You sat around resenting everybody, right?
Yeah, no, I never did. I said, you know what? In fact, if it wasn't for that $4 an hour job, I never would have gotten into radio.
That's right.
It
was a thing you used at the time. It was good for you, and you made the most out of it.
If they were paying people $1,000 an hour, guess what? They never would have hired me.
Right.
And does Idiot realize he wouldn't be on the Jay Leno show making that ridiculous amount of fucking money he makes if it wasn't for that show?
No, I mean, everything is just what an ingrate to go on Adam's show and fucking badmouth me and then ask for a favor.
If he's going to do this, why not do it here?
And then ask for a favor can I go on Bubba's show? And I go, sure, no problem. I mean, I couldn't be nicer about it.
He didn't ask us.
Oh.
Bubba's people asked us if it was okay.
Oh, well, you know what? Tell him to go fuck himself.
But he's looking to be on the Bubba show.
Yeah.
Right, no doubt, I'm sure.
A Bubba show.
And what's he promoting, that stupid fucking piece of shit movie he did? Did you see the promo?
Yeah, I know. What a goof.
Yeah. The point I was just going to make is you started to make it. Listen, I always bitch about how I was grossly underpaid at K-Rock, but the difference was I was not an indentured servant. I could have left anytime I wanted to.
That's the point of a first job in radio.
I could have left.
You get the job. One thing I hate about Howard, he didn't give me all his money. You fucking cunt. And stop having that fucking wife talk to my girlfriend every minute, you fuckhead. You think I don't know what's up?
Everybody here has the same opportunity.
What happened to the stuttering, too?
That's the other thing, too. During this interview, he gets this affected thing now. It's like, he sounds like Alistair Cook. Well, Adam.
Yeah, listen to you would think this. You know what? Okay.
You're talking to an elder statesman.
Jay Leno's writers lost their mind and hired Stuttering John.
I never understood.
And now he thinks he's a fucking elder statesman in show business. They're paid. They had the great Stuttering John, and they ended up.
They never appreciated what they had.
And fucking Adam with Stern and all that shit. Where's that all up? Where's that coming from?
Well, I think he's always done that.
Well, you think maybe Adam's trying to, kind of stir the pot, get John.
You know what? Don't stir the pot on my ass.
Yeah, I mean, you could take his side every once in a while.
Yeah, I don't hear it. You think Stern shouldn't have been such a money grabber and giving you all his money?
But he's talking about the decision everybody here has to make. Do you like how you're being treated? Then you stay with the show. If you don't like how you're being treated, then you have to make a decision. Is the show that important, or do I want to move on?
Who told John?
That is your decision.
I never was bitter when I made $4 an hour. I was like, thank God for it. I got a starting job.
But you know what I'm saying here is that you can't think about what Howard gets.
Oh, that's what they all. That's the mentality.
What you're being offered.
Yeah.
If you don't like what you're being offered,
leave.
Go.
And
Wait,
listen to the rest of this.
People always get mad at me, I'm a sellout because I left the Stern show. But the truth is, man, I got 3 kids, and, I want to move up in this business.
Good. No one said you're a sellout.
Yeah.
Who says that?
Maybe they did. I don't know who these people are. It wasn't us.
It wasn't us, but now bash me?
I understand that part. You got 3 kids, you want to move on.
Sure.
End of sentence.
That's
it.
The
sentence should not continue.
And you say, hey, you know what? I'm very grateful. I got into radio.
Howard didn't want to support your 3 kids?
Well, no, that's Howard's job.
And number one, nobody told you to have the 3 kids and do this job. I don't know how. I mean, quite honestly, if I had John's job at that point in time, being a responsible individual, I'd go, either I've got to get more money or I'm just not going to have kids right now.
Yeah.
Dominic, hi.
2 questions. Number 1. You think Carolla is jealous of your friendship with Kimmel?
I don't know if he is or not. I have a friendship separately with Adam, and I've always considered Adam a friend, and I'm respectful of Adam. But, I just don't like how this whole thing's going down. I don't like Adam.
I disagree a little bit because you and Kim will become very close.
Well, I am close with Jimmy.
You don't know how Adam feels. I mean, you can't. That's speculation on your part.
I don't know what the bug is up Adam's ass, but you know what? And also,
or
you know
maybe
what?
Adam trying to stir it up and trying to make John, like, lure him in and maybe get some juicier shit.
Make him feel comfortable to say
I don't know, but,
crap,
you know,
maybe.
after a while, the conversation kept going in that direction.
Yes.
And I'm like, you know,
Creepy.
this doesn't sound like a guy that's
you know what? Set the guy straight.
And finally,
Yeah.
Howard,
Yeah.
what about what happens ultimately with John? Maybe his days are numbered there.
Maybe his days are numbered there, and maybe Adam's days are numbered at the radio station.
No,
I don't know.
John's days are numbered with staying over there with Jay. Maybe there's not a job forever.
Oh, I guarantee you they would have gotten rid of John within months if Jay hadn't fucking embarrassed himself with me and, you know, hired one of my guys away without asking me. So now he's sort of locked into John. Everyone knows they're not happy with John. They fucking pre-record John. They don't use John. I mean, they're not happy with John. So John should shut his fucking mouth.
And, John, nobody's running around saying you're a sellout. I mean,
nobody cares.
Yeah,
I never said
I
never said that.
I have no idea what people on the street say to John. That people say anything.
No one cares about John.
Where does John go next?
I don't know. You know what? John's been very, very fortunate. He's doing very well for himself, and I've always wished him well. But don't get on the fucking radio and talk about how I owed you some fucking money, you cunt.
I'm surprised, I have to tell you.
Let me tell you something. He can go fuck himself. And Ralph is surprised, and neither is Fred, and neither is Robin.
I don't know what your experience was, Ralph, but...
No, he just, you know, it's just the conniving. They always, like, you know, doing something in the back. He said, you know...
Howard never went to bat for you. Never went to bat for you. You're lucky you had a fucking first radio job.
Howard went to bat for John more than anybody, I think, on the show. You know, in terms... I mean, not that he didn't deserve to have it, but, you know, he went to John a lot more than...
Sure.
He didn't deserve it as much as, like,
the first radio job. Leave if you... Like Robin says, leave if you don't like it and move on with your scary, great career.
You believe in yourself. You believe in your talent. Go out there.
That's what I did. I didn't sit there and go, gee, my boss at WRNW should have given me $10 million. No.
And, John, if you were important to the show, maybe you would have made more.
Exactly.
You're really not that important, you fucking stuttering retard.
Well, that's kind of the point, too.
Yeah.
You were kind of paid what you were worth. And trust me, I wonder if Jay Leno isn't sitting and reevaluating that salary he gave you.
Yeah.
Do you remember the book deal?
Yeah. All right. Hey, thanks, Dominic. Thanks, Rob.
Play more.
All right, I will. Once more.
Play more.
I want to hate him more.
Oh, this will get you going, John.
Did you ever think, expect, or hope that the boss man would kick something down to you?
Of course, Adam. I mean, listen, you know, I love Howard and all, but my biggest beef has always been on that show.
He's got a beef with me.
Oh, that, you know, they just don't take care of people, and it was, you know, like, people always get mad at me, you know, I'm a sellout because I left the Stern show, but the truth is, man, I got 3 kids, and, you know, I want to move up in this business, and, you know, I can't make this kind of money for the rest.
He wants to move up in the business. Who's stopping him?
My life.
He had chances. He had opportunities. K-Rock gave him a shift.
Wait a minute. He's the first person who ever had to leave a job to move up.
Yeah, gee, welcome to the real world. And by the way, I don't know too many people who get a job out of college on K-Rock with their own radio show.
That was phenomenal.
When Steve Kingston came to me and we talked about it, and I said, yeah, can you do something for John? I mean, you know, go fuck yourself.
Wait,
I only wish somebody would have done something for me.
You were the reason he stayed around as long as he did, because you were always figuring out ways
to try to get him some money.
Get some money. Instead of him having to deal with, I need to go off on my own.
Wait a second. He had the opportunity with this band. He was doing acting. He was doing radio shows.
He got a record deal.
So, wait. The bottom line is he just wasn't talented.
But with no shit. That's the point I'm making. And this fluke with the Jay Leno show is nothing but a fluke. And if you gave Jay Leno a lie detector test, it would come out that he's disappointed in what he spent his money on. But he's got to keep him. Now he'll look like an idiot if he fires him. What is it?
We're working on a special. David Height's team is working on a special doing a Stuttering John Spotlight.
Yeah.
Take it off. Take it off. Well, initially he said, I'll do it, but you have to run a spot for my movie once an hour.
Yeah. No.
And I says, Beck's Beer, our biggest advertiser, doesn't run a
his
spot.
movie. The movie's going though. I've seen the trailer for it. It looks like fucking amateur.
So it gets down to the point. I says, John, all the things that I've helped you out with over the years at WYSP, at WCKG, promoting your comedy shows and so forth. I says, help me out. I says, I'm asking you as a favor. He goes, Tim, I'm appalled you would even ask me that. I'm like, give me a break.
He's very full of himself.
Well, the people who usually know what other people can give them are
that's the other thing. People don't, and I'm sure there are other guys like Tim.
Why are you begging that asshole?
Yeah, really. Tim was really good to John.
I said, look, help me out with this. And he says, I'm appalled that you would even ask a personal favor. I'm like, bite me.
Hey, Tim, you know what David Height should be working on? Removing John from everything in the tapes.
Yeah, up for that. Really, I mean, tell him to go fuck himself.
Yeah, so.
Tell him to go fuck himself. I've had it. I'm listening to this shit. I'm going, what the fuck is this?
Well, I haven't only heard this one. He keeps saying the same thing.
He needs a good attitude. Yeah, I know. Let's keep going.
It's hard, I'll be out doing stand-up every weekend, and it bothered me.
No, everybody else does stand-up. You stood around watching people do stand-up.
He can't even do stand-up. He fucking got guys like your boyfriend, Jim Florentine, to do stand-up, and he got paid.
Apparently, Jim was really funny on the tour, and there were other comedians, and it's not Jim that was telling me that, but there were other comedians that said, you know something, it really sucked. That John would just constantly rip me off.
He goes, I'm out doing stand-up. But
they wanted to be seen.
He's out introducing
A, he can't do stand-up. B, he can't write movies or be in them. C, he and he's
I'm
really...
wondering who wrote the movie, because it's alleged that he wrote this movie.
I believe it. Wait till you see the trailer.
Oh.
If you believe he wrote
I believe he wrote every word of it.
You that Stern personally didn't reach out to you financially.
Well, you know what? This is the thing. I mean, he always said he doesn't want to get involved in people's salaries. But you know what, man? At some point, I think you do.
John got involved. John knows what I should do. Oh, thanks, John. You fucking asshole.
I didn't look at him bitterly then, but the only problem I had was then when you would go out and do these ancillary gigs.
Right.
He would then be angry that you're doing them.
Right. And when was I ever angry that he
because
he
slapped your name on it?
Talking about when he wanted to write a book and put from the Howard Stern show on it?
Yeah, when he would get something and he would totally be using material from the show or
when he went on
having
tour,
to slap your name across the thing.
When he went on tour and brought everybody from the show with him.
Right.
And then and did this shit show and then made me look bad because people thought I had something to do with it?
You should have let him do that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. I'll just sell my own. I don't see him walking around with the Tonight Show cast doing shows.
What John never got was, you don't do that. Why should he?
Yeah, because I don't want to do shit work.
Howard Stern's comedy troupe.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yes,
and that's where it becomes a problem, because in other words, he's saying, I'm not going to pay you, I'm not responsible for your pay.
Listen to
this. But if you do these other gigs, I'm not very happy with you to do them.
Shut the fuck up, asswipe, and suck my cock. Don't fucking call my girlfriend. Don't have your wife call. And really, I got to tell Beth, would you stop with the fucking phone calls to Susanna?
Yeah, I mean, you can't tell John to have Susanna stop.
No, I mean, really.
That's your...
This guy's a fucking tool maniac. What an ingrate. Honest to God. Shut the fuck up. Be happy you're on the Tonight Show.
Yeah, and I think all those people over there who still talk to John should stop that, too.
Well, you know what, John, wait a minute. There's something we're missing here. John is on the Tonight Show. Why is he talking about something he did 5 years ago?
Because they've clamped him up on the Tonight Show. They made a mistake in hiring him. They do nothing with him. He told me, I'm going to be Ed McMahon.
But if there was something going on with him, you'd be talking to him about that.
Yeah.
Not something he did 5 years ago.
No. Now I'm talking about Tahiti Village.
Yeah, John, talk about how you lift your fucking mug up.
Yeah. Do you know that story?
What?
How his big thing on the Tonight Show is he gets to salute Jay with his mug, and it took him time to figure out what he wanted to do.
Yeah, he worked on it.
He used to do a 2-finger salute like a lieutenant.
Yeah.
And now he figured the mug would become his signature, where he holds up his mug.
Like he's pretending he's a gregarious guy. There's probably booze in that mug. And there's a whole backstory to it, probably.
This is a guy I've been nothing but nice to.
Oh, yes.
And he's just a fucking asshole.
Oh, my goodness, yes.
Crack that fucking mug over his head.
But, I would be upset if I was doing the Tonight Show and all they could talk to me about was the Stern Show.
No. Well, what does he do on the Tonight Show? Nothing.
My point is, Howard, he hasn't done anything since he left the show.
Right. And it's fine. I don't begrudge the guy. I've told him that a million times.
They are all interested in his relationship with you, not his relationship with Jay.
I don't know. You don't invite me to your home anymore. I was like, well, dude, no. You're in California, and you know what?
Who knows when you're here?
Yeah, who gives a shit? What an ingrate. I mean, really, just obnoxious. Just remember where you came from. And someone gave you a shot. And if the shot was so bad, you leave because you be a man. And you go, and you go do something else.
John had said to me, he had...
If his record had taken off and had been any good, he would have been a rock star. If any of that had been any good...
Or his acting. Remember, he used to do those little acting gigs?
Yeah, he's horrible. It was all horrible. He was good at stuttering and asking the questions we wrote for him.
Did anybody begrudge him doing Tony and Tina's wedding? No.
When did I begrudge him a thing?
See, but Howard, he would say to you, begrudge him, he would say to you, look, you made me go do Tony and Tina. I had to go do that fucking thing 5 nights a week because you wouldn't pay me.
Hey, I'll let you in on a secret. There's a lot of people on this show that don't make a lot of money. That's right.
And a lot more talented than fucking John.
That's right.
John was busy taking away from other people who really should have been paid more.
Yep.
I have to say, I'm very happy with the cast we have now.
You're not kidding. Richard Christie and Sal,
yeah.
And you know
are here because John left. And let me tell you something. It's the pleasure of my life having those guys
was
on.
John missed? In all seriousness, was John missed for even 5 seconds?
No. I mean, I like John. I liked having him around. There's no question about it. But, geez, now it's just so tacky to hear him go on the Adam Carolla show, which is struggling along, let's be honest.
But he really should examine...
To try to put a nail in my fucking coffin.
He should examine his own life. Nobody cares about Stuttering John. They care about you.
Here's how you answer the question, Joe, when Adam goes, Stern should have dipped into his own pocket. He goes, you know what? Howard was really good to me. I was a college student. I got on the show. I stuttered. He sent me out to ask questions. I caught on. I got the greatest radio experience. I got to be in show business. I went from nowhere to New York City radio and all over the country. Howard always did his best to promote my gigs.
He doesn't even have to do that. You know, Adam, I love Howard, and go on to what he's doing.
Right.
Exactly. Instead of dwelling on what he didn't get.
Do you hear the bitterness? Do you hear the Jackie Martling bitterness seeping in?
Well, he was a student.
Yeah.
He couldn't wait to say this shit. You know?
Well, keep saying it, John.
For an outlet.
But don't fucking look for me in the future. Don't fucking look for me, and don't fucking act like you want to be my friend. And get him the fuck off any special.
And who
fuck
cares
him.
how many fucking kids you have? Don't sit there with your fucking, like Fred said, you didn't have to have fucking 3 kids when you're making whatever the fuck
you're making. $2.
Or you deal with it. You know, it's like you have your family and you deal with it. You find a way to make the money.
But then, then he plugged that fucking movie,
Oh, man, almost out of time. Where did it go? Hey, let's give
let me tell you something.
Yeah, they were too busy bad-mouthing you to get anything done.
Where'd the time go?
Yeah, plugs, you can make a buck now.
Oh, Adam, I had a great time, and it's a shame, there was so much for us to talk about, because I know you have this movie, The Hammer, coming out.
Oh, yes.
And that's March 7th. And
March 21st, by the way, but I know...
Another big film.
We changed the date, but I appreciate it, Stuttering John.
Well, no, because, you were on the show playing a clip.
Who's listening to this?
Which is a very funny clip, and the reason why I bring it up is because you and I are in somewhat the same boat.
John was delivering tires before working on the show. There's a piece of fucking trivia you didn't know.
Well, Howard, I'm just
And by the way, since
about how much he learned about radio
since I'm so not supportive, hey, John, your movie trailer begins with clips of the stuff I own, the Howard Stern Show interviews. Did you ask my permission, scumbag, when Tim asked you for a fucking favor? Did you ever think about that, scumbag? You're stealing my fucking material?
You didn't give him permission for that?
No, he didn't ask.
Oh.
Just took it. So fuck off, asshole.
Sue him.
But, I mean, this interview is horrible. He's not entertaining a soul. He learned nothing while he was here.
Did I mention one other piece of shit thing John did? Jackie Martling had this really cheap apartment. It was like $800 in the city. And then John had it for a while. And then when John was ready to move from that apartment, what did he do? Give it to somebody? No, he rented it out to, like, Gorillo and Ganji or something for like $1,000 or something.
Yeah.
He was gouging them.
Yeah.
Oh, but he's Mr. Generous.
Yeah.
He should have been taking
He
care
would
of.
have dipped into his own pocket for people.
Because I got a movie coming out, too, in April.
Ah, well, tell us the name of that.
I sold it to National Lampoon. It's called...
And by the way, there's nothing more depressing than seeing the National Lampoon logo, the once great National Lampoon logo, on a fucking... this thing. Yeah. I mean, it's just...
Well, that hasn't meant anything for a long time.
National Lampoon presents, One Too Many. It stars me and Jeffrey Ross, who you know.
Ah, yes, I'm a huge fan of Jeff, the king of the road.
Oh, my God.
No wonder Jeffrey Ross told me it was pretty good. He's in it.
He's the star.
and, he plays my best friend, Adam. I got to tell you, this is like, he's actually a good actor, man.
Look, John. John bestowing the good actor title.
Oh, he just gave it to Jeffrey because, but it turned out he was a good actor.
I got to tell you something. A lot of people think I hired Jeff Ross for his big name recognition, but it turns out he's a really good actor.
It was between him and Daniel Day-Lewis.
Kills in the role.
I know. He comes in here once a month playing the part of a sleepy, stoned, insult comic. And he nails it. So that's April 10th?
Well, actually, the premiere, which I hope you come to, is April 10th, and it comes out April 15th on DVD.
Listen, it goes right to DVD?
What? Did it come? It comes out on
April 10th,
and then when is it on DVD?
April 15th. It's got a 5-day release.
They've already scheduled it.
I just got to plug this, and this is great for you and all your listeners, and totally legit. If they call this number now, they get 3-day, 2-night complimentary hotel stay in Las Vegas, and also 2 tickets to a Las Vegas show.
And you have the number?
Yeah, and I'm going to do a screening in Vegas. So,
wow. Let's get there real quick.
How many things can you plug in one sentence?
Yeah, and, he's making a pretty good chunk of change over there tonight. Does he have to be, like...
Yeah, exactly. Why is he whoring himself out, Mr. Moneybags?
He can't stop.
What's with the stutter, too? Where'd it go?
Well, it's here. He's stuttering a little bit.
A little bit.
Also, call this number, 866-50-GET-IT. That's 866-50-GETIT. And it's great, man. It's a free room, 3-day, 2-night complimentary hotel stay, and, 2 tickets to a Vegas show. And it's, it's a cool thing. And soon in April, I'll be doing a screening. I hope you come. And
I defy any human being to sit through that.
It sounds like torture. I mean, you look at that trailer.
Please send me the movie. I want to be tortured.
Yeah, I got to tell you something. He can go fuck himself, officially. Going around on the badmouth tour of Howard Stern because you're desperate to sell some shit movie.
Right, you got to get people to Tahiti Village.
I want to know when the movie tanks.
On Howard's back.
When the movie tanks, how's he going to blame me for that? Somehow I did it.
And, I guess he'll throw Jay under the bus, too. Jay's not promoting this fucking piece of shit on his show.
How come Jay isn't promoting it?
Where the fuck is his appearance on The Tonight Show with a clip of his fucking movie?
Howard should promote it every day. Fuck off, Stuttering John.
Jay's so wonderful.
Yeah. I don't need, I've been nothing but nice to this guy, and then his big opportunity to go on Adam's show is to do the bad mouth of Howard Stern. That's what he had to do.
But they wouldn't have booked him any other way.
I love Howard. I love Howard, but why don't you say that about Jay? I'm sure there's things you don't like about Jay.
He's still getting paid.
How about,
from Jay.
I love Jay, but he doesn't put me on the show because he thinks I'm a talentless piece of shit.
You're on Adam Carolla. You worked the Tonight Show. Why is your movie being promoted on Adam Carolla's show?
Because Jay wants nothing to do with it.
John has failed at everything he's done. He can fail at this movie, too.
Right. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right. Okay. That's my good buddy Stuttering John. Let's see, what is this? Oh, here he is talking about his starting salary at K-Rock because he was such an incredible talent.
Starting? He was nothing.
I mean, the truth is, Adam, and you know how, radio, well, you get a lot more than I ever did, but, for me, my first salary at K-Rock was $10,000 a year.
Oh,
yeah.
What
that's
was
crazy.
He doing?
How would they overlook him?
Howard, what was your starting salary in radio?
Well, first of all, it was my radio show.
Yeah, he was actually on the radio.
The fact of the matter is, the point I'm trying to make, nobody starts off making money.
No, his starting salary, he's lying. His starting salary was free.
That's right.
He was an intern.
He started paying him for something he did for free.
He said to me, I enjoy myself here. I want to hang around. Can you get me some money? I said, I don't know if they'll pay any interns. I said, if you want. So they gave him $10,000, and I said, John, I wouldn't make a life plan of staying here.
He doesn't realize what a gift he got. I mean, and this isn't just blowing smoke up your ass. It's like the fact that he was an intern Where in this universe does an intern become a part of the most major radio program in all of history?
Right.
And that was in 1990.
Yeah, and here's how radio works normally.
Now Adam knows how radio works.
Now we're going to get the gospel of radio from Adam?
Yeah, all right. I had enough of this.
Another happy guy.
My biggest, triumph leaving the Stern Show was when I went to the general manager, Tom Chiusano, who was probably the cheapest guy on the planet. And when I went into his office and just said, "Hey Tom, I just want to let you know I'm giving you my 2 weeks notice and I'm leaving," and he just crouched over and he hunched it and leaned over towards me and went, "No way." And it was like the best moment. I was just like
triumphant because everyone is against John.
I beat them.
Yeah. I'm a super talent.
My starting salary.
No. My starting salary.
He never started.
He never had a salary.
He never started.
So the show comes about on ABC.
I don't know what it is. Let's see. I don't know. Who cares? All right. Anyway, I do obviously care, but...
Yeah, I didn't hear all the Adam Carolla Stern stuff. I don't know what you did over there.
Stern. Yeah, go ahead, Lisa G. Go ahead. What is in the news?
Start.
There's just an avalanche of anti-Stuttering John sentiment coming in. And,
oh, jeez.
Gary was just going on in here about all the scams he used to pull. And I'm complaining about money. Here's some intern who hated him because John used to figure out a way to finagle his credit card out of him and pay for all his meals. Remember all that? And
yeah, he was always getting free rides. And
I'm sorry Artie's not here. Artie tells the story about how John would take him on tour with him and keep the lion's share of the money for himself.
Right.
And Artie did what Artie had to do. Artie went and said, okay, I'll do my own show.
Artie does what you do. He didn't complain about Stuttering John.
Although Artie is a good friend of John's, and I don't think he, would be too thrilled with this.
Well, I don't know. That's up to him. I just know how I feel.
But the point is that Artie did what you do when you're not satisfied with how things are going. He started on his own.
Yeah. Nick DiPaolo, too, used to go on the Stuttering John tour, and John would keep all the money, and Nick was like, well, I'm doing all the work.
There were a bunch of comedians, and he, I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what his financials were. But John would come to me sometimes and say, these comedians don't understand.
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah, Mr. Generous.
Whatever.
Mr. He's not being treated fairly.
He didn't go into his pocket for them?
Yeah, no, never. Melendez never went into your pocket, huh? Went into his pocket. You go into your pocket for people you believe in.
The topic that everybody's talking about, and that's Stuttering John's interview with Adam Carolla and Howard's reaction to it.
Well, Howard's reaction was not good, and, I can tell... because I talked to Howard off the air, he's pissed.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's pissed for the air and there's pissed, and Howard's pissed today.
Why do you think this lit such a fire? What part of it was...
the part that lit a fire on Howard was that John feels that he was somehow slighted by Howard. It's okay to say, John started to say Tom didn't pay me, but John took a direct shot at him. I resent the fact that Howard never stood up for me, and I resent the fact that when we tried to do things on our own, he wasn't helpful enough. And Howard sees it a different way.
Well, you obviously know John better than I do. Does he always count other people's money? Is that sort of his MO?
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, John would be the first. If John were sitting here right now, he'd be the first to tell you. We've been out to lunches with people, with clients, where John sort of tried to browbeat them into telling them what they made. And that was always sort of a funny thing with John. But John always counts other people's money. Like, I found, it's really funny when you work with somebody for a long time and you think you know them and then they leave, everybody else tells you real things about them after they left. And this is one of the things I always thought was funny. You would give John a Christmas present, and then the second you gave it to him, he would hand it off to Jason, and he wanted Jason to go on the Internet to look up and see how much it cost. And that's probably because he wanted to either spend a similar amount or he wanted to see what people thought he was worth.
Well, I remember one of the first times coming on the show, I went out to lunch with John and Art and a couple of the guys, Phelan, the Pace, I think. And first thing John asked me was, so how much money do you make off that website?
Oh, yeah, no, he asked right away. He got Vinny Favale. We were at a lunch once, Vinny who works at CBS, and he was really browbeating him. But one of our clients, a good friend of ours named John, who worked at Valley Total Fitness at the time, he used to take us out to lunch every Christmas. So he takes us out to lunch with 20 people, including this couple who had won a chance to come and meet Artie, and we all went out to lunch together. And John was just like browbeating him. Come on, John, how much do you make? And it wasn't just like, how much do you make? And he goes, it's got to be more than 200,000, right? You got to be more than 200,000. And the guy would start to sweat. He goes, 300,000, 400,000. And John could really make you tell him the truth.
Well, as Howard's rap went on about what John said on Corolla, he got more pissed. Fred was pissed. Robin was pissed. Teddy, hit clip number 1 if people didn't hear it, so they can hear a little bit of everyone's reaction.
I got to tell you something. He can go fuck himself, officially. Going around on the badmouth tour of Howard Stern because you're desperate to sell some shit movie.
Right, you got to get people to Tahiti Village.
I want to know when the movie tanks.
On Howard's back.
When the movie tanks, how's he going to blame me for that? Somehow I did it.
And, I guess he'll throw Jay under the bus, too. Jay's not promoting this fucking piece of shit on his show.
How come Jay isn't promoting it?
Where the fuck is his appearance on The Tonight Show with a clip of his fucking movie?
Howard should promote it every day. Fuck off, Stuttering John.
Jay's so wonderful.
Yeah. I've been nothing but nice to this guy, and then his big opportunity to go on Adam's show is to do the bad mouth of Howard Stern. That's what he had to do.
Well, there it is. And Fred, John, he's talked about it here before, has been a bone of contention, I guess. Those guys didn't mix very well.
Yeah, Fred, he and Fred definitely had but Fred told him right when he was leaving. First of all, you got to go back. When John left, it was so uncomfortable, mostly on John's part. He was just uncomfortable. I'm sure listen, when you work at a place for a long time and you leave abruptly like that, there's a lot of emotions that go through you. And I remember having a big fight with him one day off the air. He was like breaking my balls about something stupid. I'm like, John, we fuck with everybody. Suddenly you're leaving and we can't fuck with you. And he yelled at me, and then he came over and he hugged me. You know what I mean? Like it was like a ball of emotions. But he and Fred that last week, we should go back and replay that on Master Tape Theater. There was Fred pretty much told him flat out what he thought of him right before he left.
I remember it. It was harsh. Matt in Montreal, welcome to the wrap-up show.
Yeah, hey guys. I just wanted to ask you, Gary, do you think Howard was maybe a little too hard on Stuttering John, based on just what he said from the clips anyway?
Here's the deal. I heard what John had to say today, and I know John pretty well, and I think that I probably suspected that he felt that way. I don't know if we ever had conversations about it, or if he did feel that way back then, if he still felt that way now. But I'm surprised that John verbalized it, because, listen, Howard's done a lot for him. Why do you want to piss off Howard? Forget the fact that John should be grateful for a lot of things that Howard did to him. We're throwing that out the window. And say you buy into that Howard's wrong and John's right. Why would you want to rankle Howard anyway? Why would you want to rattle that cage? Now, having gone down that road, no, I think that Howard has a right to be pissed. Howard feels like he did a lot of stuff for him. And why is he 3-4 years later going down this road?
Jace. I have a question for you, Gary, because I wasn't there in the beginning. John's rap on that Adam Carolla show seemed to be very similar to how Jackie describes leaving the show in terms of money and all this stuff. And do you think, because I know John and Jackie were good friends, did he get this line from Jackie, or did he feel that way on his own, do you think?
It's hard to say. I mean, John's always been a self-promoter. John's, even there were times where I didn't believe in myself enough to go for more money, and John believed in himself more, and I thought to myself, well, God, he's got a set of balls. And I mean that in a good way. Like, he's got the balls to step up for himself. But I don't know if he got it from Jackie, or I think John had it built in already, and Jackie was a good template.
Yeah, I'm not making an excuse. I'm just saying that for him because, he's a grown man.
But you know what?
They sound eerily similar in their complaints.
But you know what? And Jackie gets mad at me for talking about this, but I got caught in a moment with them, with the two of them, where they tried to sort of suck me in. Not so much John, more Jackie, but it was when the E! Television show first started, and we all sort of got a fairly low rate to start. And I was sort of grateful to get any extra money. I had just moved into a house, and my son was just born, and I was like, I looked at it like this is good extra money. They looked at it like they were getting ripped off. And I remember Jackie and John were pissed off, and Jackie turned around and he said, if me, you, and John refuse, we've got strength in numbers. And I said, you know what, guys? I'm not going to be part of your numbers. I got a kid and a house, and you know what? This price isn't so bad for me.
Now, Jace, you worked with John back there for a while. Was he this prick that everybody's making him out to be?
I mean, yes and no. I mean, look, I like John. I'm friends with John. I'm not going to defend what he said on Adam Carolla's show because I don't agree with him. I mean, he's got his own thing going on between him and Howard. But as a guy, first of all, I see how he gets on everyone's nerves. He got on my nerves a lot. There were lots of times where I was really mad at him. But end of the day, at least to me, he treated me really well. We were friends. We hung out. We talked. John was one of the first guys here, when I had just hired, that he would take me out to lunch. I mean, he'd pay. I know he has the reputation of being a cheap guy, but he'd take me and Will out to lunch. He'd have us over his house. I mean, he really opened up to us. And with his opening up came a lot of, John's bullshit that comes with it. But what can I say? The guy really treated me well. And I'm still friends with him to this day.
But you weren't surprised by the way Howard reacted to hearing that interview, right?
I didn't like John's comments either. When I heard the Adam Carolla thing, I thought he was off base. I mean, again, it's between him and Howard, and I don't want to tell John how he should feel, but I don't agree with what he said at all. No.
Well, Jason, what did you said something to me this morning that I thought was interesting. This whole explosion that happened this morning is probably John's worst nightmare since he left. This is the one thing that he didn't want to happen. And I kept thinking that John made this happen for like an interview on the Adam Carolla show and a Tahiti Village plug. Do you know what I mean? Like,
he blew it. His big fear. He hasn't been on the show since he left, and that's not by accident. That seems to be by his doing. And I think he fears what Howard will say about Jay Leno when he's here. And I think he fears that something like this would end up happening. And then he made it happen anyway for nothing.
Right. That's exactly.
And I guess that's my question to you guys. Like, is John not savvy enough to realize that as he's talking to Carolla, or does he think, you know what, this is gonna kind of never get there?
I've seen this before with people, and he clearly has felt this way for a long time. So you can suppress it, but one day, it's been 4 years. He's been asked about it 1,000 times. One day somebody asks you, and you finally tell the truth.
Again,
you know what I mean?
This isn't an excuse, but Adam seemed to know what the answer was going to be, because the way he was questioning him, he seemed to be going for a very specific.
Yeah, but John had every opportunity to not answer it that way.
No, exactly. No, it's John's fault 100%. But that was funny listening to. Like, Adam was definitely going down that road on purpose.
It's funny. Like, he was scheduled to be on Bubba's show, and then Brent emailed me and said, "Should I cancel him?" And I said no. And I actually asked Brent at Bubba, don't hammer him when he calls. I don't want you guys to browbeat him. I want you guys to let him say his piece. I'm curious John's response to this, and I'd like to hear it.
Would he ever call in here?
I don't think so. I think that's why I got a better shot of finding out how he feels through the Bubba show than he does through here. I mean, he said to me, even in the past, when we were going to do good things, and John's sort of right on this part. He goes, listen, man, when you call in, you're at such a disadvantage. You know what I mean? You can barely hear, and everyone there is live, and you can't really get your point across. And that's why John wouldn't even call in for when we left K-Rock. John didn't want to call in. So I don't see him calling in for this.
The last time John ever called into our show was when he called us from the last day of Celebrity Get Me Out of Here.
Oh, God. You know what? John called from Australia during, I'm a Celebrity Get Me Out of Here. And I think that he had gotten such amazing feedback from everybody on how well he was doing that he thought we would go, hey, John, great job that you're doing. And Howard's like, where the hell have you been? And it was brutal. John couldn't get a word in. I think, from that appearance, he realized calling in ain't going to work.
Sure, what do you want to say?
I was going to say one of my other favorite calls is after you guys went to L.A. for the Grammys, and John ran up that huge bill at the hotel for laundry service and all, and then he was too sick to even come back to work from partying the whole weekend, and he called in from home, and Howard just let him have it. But as a caller, I was calling into the show when John was working, and there was an incident where when John would go on the road, he'd bring this videotape with him, and it had 10 to 15 minutes of his interviews that he did for Howard's show.
And that's how he opened the show.
That's how he would open the show. And that's how he would open the show 10 minutes after that, and then he would tell people that he's a comic who does 25 minutes. Whatever. He left the videotape in Vegas. He forgot it there. I was living there at the time. I went back to the hotel, dug through Lost and Found for a whole day, found the tape. I sent it back to him. About 3 months later, they're on the air busting John's balls for forgetting money, forgetting stuff at shows. I said, you know what? Here's a funny time to call in and do this story. I call in, and I'm on hold waiting to get on. They go to commercial. John picks up the phone on me in commercial and goes, you're going to tell him the story about the videotape? And I said, yeah, I thought it'd be funny. He goes, after all I've done for you? And I said, what do? You put me on hold when I call in. That's what you do for me. And that, from what I hear, that's John's M.O. Like,
that was one of the things that disappointed me that I found out also from Sal, and I'm sure there's 1,000 other people with the story. But, John's job was to answer the phones and, do the best that you could. And listen, I'm the first to put through, somebody sends a song about me, about how fucking retarded my teeth are and everything else, and I put it through because I never want to be accused of holding back.
And apparently John was wielding this power on the phones. And Sal will tell the story about how, he called in once and said he was going to talk about something and took a shot at John, made a joke. And then when Sal would call back, John would say, "You're on 2 months probation."
Yeah,
he was producing the phone calls.
The only
gatekeeper.
The only way that I got him to kind of see my side of things, I said, "You know what, John? That's fine. You don't want to take my calls. Don't take them." I said, "I'll just call Will and Gary and go over your head." And that's when he freaked out.
Fred Norris, star of Fuse.
There you go. Thank you very much, ladies
Nice
and gentlemen.
job.
There you go. Thank you.
Now, I'm sure you weren't. We've talked about this. You weren't surprised at all by the way Howard reacted today, hearing these clips.
You know what? I am surprised with the way, because Howard has, I think, shown, especially in light of a lot of things. I mean, certain things have been said about him by people in the past, whatever, and he's usually taken the high road and shown, a lot of restraint. Today was like one of the first times, in my opinion, I don't care if you'd agree or not, where I've really seen him really affected by that whole exchange.
You missed the beginning of the show. I said Howard was pissed. He wasn't acting.
Yeah.
He was visibly angry. And during the commercial when we played in the clip, while he was on the air, getting pissed. And afterwards, there was a commercial again. And even at the end of the show, he was.
And he
should have been.
I mean, look, let me start off by this statement. It's I have no grudge against John at all at this point in time. It's 4 years gone. Good luck, have a nice life, et cetera, et cetera. However, what I'm surprised by is 4 years later, he's still kicking and moaning about the money situation when, he should be having the time of his life. Right. He's on The Tonight Show. He's got a movie coming out. I don't know if it's good, bad, or indifferent, but I'm sure it's going to make some money, and God bless him. I hope he makes a fortune. He can build 5 houses and rival Sam Simon, for all I care. But I just don't understand, 4 years later, now he's like, they owed me money. It's like, that was the job. I mean, my first job in radio, and I loved the station. I was just telling Will Murray about that. My first job in radio, I worked at the station. I made $150 a week, and I didn't want to leave, but, they weren't paying me a lot of money. I had no insurance, and another station offered me a job. It wasn't it was in Springfield. It was a lesser market, but they were willing to pay the freight. And I finally went in and said, "Listen, can you match that?" And they went, "No, we can't." And I left.
And did you trash them 4 years later?
No,
it was still hooked on? No.
We goof on how cheap they were and whatnot on the air. But do I have any anger at them about that? No.
Well, a little bit. Because I was listening to you on the History of Howard.
Yeah.
But it was done in a humorous way. But
right.
But you're no,
that's just my asshole humor.
No, but I think that in a way you're still sort of a little bit upset that they didn't recognize you for what you were.
Well, I think everybody would do that, but but that's reality. I mean, if there were anything that being upset, especially with the History of Howard Stern and the thing, I hesitate to be a part of the History of Howard Stern anymore because everybody tells me how angry I am.
No, I thought you were great.
And I was just trying to I think people mistake my passion sometimes for anger, and sometimes my wife tells me the same thing. but
Fred, I want to tell you something. When I started at NBC and Fred was there, I actually knew how much Howard made because he used to talk about it on the air all the time. And I think I knew how much Fred made because at one point he told me, and without getting into the numbers, Fred probably made about 10% or less of what Howard made. But I don't think in the history of Fred and I being together, and we've talked about money over the years and wish we had more or anything, we've never sort of tied ourselves to. I always say I'm proud that I don't count anybody else's money in the sense we've never tied ourselves to Howard's fucking us because he's making all the money.
That was the one thing I never understood about John, and and I found it distasteful.
Yeah, and Jackie did that too. And I don't get that either.
I never found. It's the same. I don't get it. I don't get into it. It's like, you know what? It's like I look at my pile of cash and go, "Gee, why isn't it bigger?" But I'm not looking at somebody else's plate and going "Hey, that should be mine." It's not mine. It's yours.
I was telling the guys that at one point I thought that when we were at K-Rock I was being really underpaid. So what I did is I went and found out what Imus's producer made, and I went and found out what Mark O'Brien's producer made, and I went and found out what Steve Dahl's producer made. And then I went into the owner of the company, and I presented my case, and I said, this is what I think I'm worth as a producer. But I never tied it to Howard's money, which is, I think, an enormous mistake that both Jackie and John made all the time.
Yeah, it's just weird. But do you guys think that John saw himself higher up on the food chain than he actually was?
Yeah, I mean, Jason, you'd have to agree, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, I love John, but end of the day, the guy was there for 4 hours, and he got paid like a guy that was there for 4 hours.
And here's like Jason just reminded me of a story this morning that was really funny. John and I had this enormous blow up on the air about how he doesn't stick around after the show, how he doesn't do any work. And, he's like, why does Gary respect me? I'm like, because I want you to help me. So Jason had just started. It was one of probably the first things I'd given John a project. I remember I'd handed John a project. I said, okay, with this argument we had, this new thing, John, can you take care of this? And I can't remember what it was, but here's what I do remember. John left that day, and about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, on my way out, I happened to look over, and I see Jason doing the project. And I said, what the fuck are you doing? He goes, I don't know, John left and said, do this. And that was the shit that made me crazy. Do you know what I mean?
Guy went nuts. Guy was so fucking...
And it wasn't the point that Jason couldn't handle the project. The point was, I said that, I would give things to people to do, Will, if you could do this, Jason, if you could do this. So it was one less thing I could give to Jason because he'd already been overloaded with John's work.
So John delegated well.
He didn't, but the point is, John, I think, saw himself, I think the whole doing work after the show, I think he felt was beneath him.
Absolutely.
I think he felt he was a character on the show. I think he felt he was a writer on the show.
He was talent.
I think he felt he was talent, and that to ask him, for me to ask John to do a project, I think he felt was as demeaning as me asking Fred to do a project.
Absolutely, 100%.
Although, when I'm called on to do stuff, it's usually I'll do it. I'm not going to be going out and getting somebody else to, somebody else to do something.
Right, yeah. A perfect example is, when we do the FMEs, or whatever we're going to call them over here, sometimes we would break up the logs into months, and I'd say, Fred, could you take a look at these? And Fred would never give me a problem.
I'll tell you another moment real quick when I was new here and I was just blown away with another FME project where Fred stayed with me till about 3 o'clock in the afternoon and went through all the different cards because we were looking for some specific stuff. So, yeah, I mean... when you ask Fred to do something, he doesn't bitch about it like John did.
But when John was asked,
your job.
Yeah, but when John was asked to stay after and work, he did not like that. He felt he was insulted by it.
You guys argued about.
I was going to say, what about when he got that air shift? I mean, that was a huge deal, right? How seriously did he take that?
See, John, you know what? You're an evil guy in and of yourself because you're asking questions you know the answer to. So don't pretend to be so innocent.
He's Adam Carolla over here.
Go ahead.
Now, what do you think, John? You think Stern should have taken care of you or what?
So now he was evil on that interview. We should talk about that.
So now I'm put in the position. So now John's been given the job of doing the air shift after us. So now I can't even ask John to do work anymore because he's got to go do the air shift. But it gets worse because at some point they tell him that they'd rather he record the show than actually do the show live.
Kind of like the Tonight Show does now.
It was an all-request show. And John used to, if anybody has any memory of it, for some reason...
I witnessed it.
Yeah,
I saw him record.
John loved the name Paul. So John would make up requests, and he would go, Paul from Bayshore writes in. And so what happened was, not only was he doing that and recording it, but he decided now that in order for him to leave at a time that he felt was fitting for him, he was going to record his show while Robin was doing the news so that he could leave when the show was over like everyone else. And the day that it really got to me was he bragged to me in the summer. He had bought this beautiful house with a giant pool, and he bragged to me how he could get home in time and be in the pool and listen to the start of his show.
I could see how that might upset you.
Jamie, how long did it take him to record it? That was a funny process.
Like 15 minutes. Like right after the show ended, he walked in and would go, "I'll eat 2 seconds." They would have Steve Reed record, read off the names. All right, done. Let's go to lunch.
JD, did you have these issues with John like everybody else is saying?
No. I mean, because I was a fan of the show before, and I heard like all these people have issues, like interns giving him money and whatnot. I sort of stayed away from him because he was a bit of a shady character.
I got to say one thing about him. I really do. And like when the book Wired came out, John Belushi's widow was upset because she didn't dispute what was in the book. She felt that was only one side of him. And everything that we're saying about John is true, but he wasn't always like this. He, like Jason was saying, I can't completely throw him under the bus because we did have a good relationship, but he could be, I said to Jason today, the one thing about John was, it was almost like, the $6 Million Man, how John could look at you and decide within seconds whether you could do something for him or not. If you could, he loved you. And he could look at you and decide whether you could do something for him or not, and if you couldn't, you could right on the scrap heap. You know what I mean? Right on the scrap heap.
What's in it for him? It was immediately.
Now, Fred, you brought up a good point. Did Carolla sort of skate free on this? Because he, listen to that whole interview, he was leading a little.
You know something? That's why I want to kind of give John the benefit of the doubt. And I mean, who knows why he was calling in? Maybe he was just calling in. I mean, probably for me to defend John, but I'm actually defending him in this case. I mean, he may have been set up. You know, I'm actually giving him the benefit of the doubt because it's like the questions were so leading, and after a while, I mean, what's funny? It's supposed to be a comedy show, and Adam wasn't very funny, except maybe for one like sound effect or something like that at the end. I'm going, dude, it's like you're like really leading him down the garden path. It's like you've got some sort of agenda.
Well,
here.
Adam was saying, I'm in radio. I've been through this. What do you think, John? And it was a natural sort of way to ask those questions. Now, John could have answered them differently.
But at a certain point, you go, that's the way radio is. He made it seem like, you know, he was totally exploited, that he was a victim, that, you know, like, poor me. I did all these great interviews, and they didn't pay me any money.
I got to tell you, Adam, to me, came off sounding very angry also. Like, he seemed to be agreeing with everything John said. Right. I really got that impression that Adam was hoping that John would say the stuff that he wanted to say. I mean, it seemed really weird. That whole dynamic between those two was odd.
So you're saying John was Adam's mouthpiece in a way?
Adam seemed to know exactly what he wanted to ask, exactly the answers he expected to get, and he seemed to agree with everything John said. And he said it in a tone that was like, yeah, I'm with you. And with you, sorry. And I don't know. I thought Adam came off bad in that also.
I've never gotten a warm feeling from Adam being on the show, and I've never gotten the feeling like the way I get with Jimmy. And I'm not doing this to piss Adam off and say, you know, Goofus and Gowan. But I never gotten the feeling that Adam appreciated the show or appreciated being on the show the way others did. But I don't know him well enough.
Yeah,
mostly because I don't think he wanted to know me well enough.
I've got a funny feeling that's just basically part of his personality. I think he's one of those kind of bite the hand that feeds him sort of guy. So I don't think it was like personal in that respect. I think he bitches and moans about everybody.
This whole Adam discussion sounds like a breakup. You know, when somebody breaks up with a chick and they go, good, I never liked her anyway. She's a whore. And then a week later, you're going to get back together with her and say nice things.
Well, we got a ton of phone calls on this. Let's talk to Wolf in Philly. Wolf, you're on the wrap-up show.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Hey, Wolf.
Hey, anytime we talk about Stuttering John, the issue of salary does come up. And I'm just curious for some of the guys on the show, like JD, Jason, and even Gary to some extent. I'm just curious, the job that you're in right now, great exposure, and probably above anything else, it's just a lot of fun. But if the salary isn't really there, what kind of is the focus? Is it just on the exposure currently, or do you think this is going to lead to opportunities down the road once Howard retires? What's the incentive to really stay?
JD's not in the room, but Benji's here, Jason's here, Gary, you guys should answer that. Jason, what were you going to say?
Well, I would say, first of all, when you first start and you're young, like I was right out of college, you know, money didn't mean anything to me. I was beyond excited to be working on my favorite show of all time and to be around these guys, and then to get here and to find out that everyone's great and this is a fun place to work and you get to really expand and create and make your own niche. That was awesome, but it certainly comes to a point where you get older and you're like, well, I have to live my life now. And you know, to me, I was able to get it to an area where I was comfortable enough to say, okay, great, I can stay here and do something I love and support myself. Right. And I'm fine with that, and I'm at peace with that. I'd much rather be doing something I love and then, you know, doing something I don't love just because I feel I need more money. But it certainly comes to a point. I mean, there was a small point with me. It was like, geez, I can't live anymore on what I'm making. Unfortunately, I was able to get a little bit more. But to guys like John, I mean, who obviously was doing okay. He had a house. He had $1 million apartment in the city. He had while he worked on the Stern show. He had great cars. He was supporting a wife and 2 or 3 kids. I mean, I'm not 100% sure where his problem was at that point. I thought he had the greatest job in the world, and he seemed to be making a great living off of it. So you'd have to ask John what his specifics were.
Well, he did say in the interview that he had a wife and 3 kids, and he had to take care of them. But nobody begrudged him that opportunity.
Absolutely not. You know, and I understand that. It's like, you know, when you have kids, it's like you want to make sure. I mean, Gary is a prime example of that. You know, he's an example of that. He's got two sons. He's a good dad, you know, and he's a good provider. It's like, but you do what you have to do to make ends meet. I never heard Gary bitching and moaning about money or his situation. All he was ever interested in doing was a good job here.
See, for me, my take on that guy's question is very similar to Jason's. There were times where I felt that I wasn't making enough, but there was never a period where I wasn't making enough to live. I felt like I was being underpaid, but, you know, I mean, I think it comes across. I've always loved the job, and like from day one, it was fun. It was just always fun.
Right.
And I always thought of the alternatives. You know, I had friends who went to college, and some of them went to go work at, you know, like commercial, you know, doing ad agencies, and some of them didn't even get a job in the business at all. And I said to myself, well, God, you know, if I made twice as much as I was making, but had to sit at an ad agency, I'd probably be pining away to be back with Howard. So
of course.
That's how you have to play
You'd
it.
be sitting in the ad agency listening to the show.
Benj, how about you?
Well, you first start, you claim you're young, you claim you're right out of college, and
by the way, your ARP card just came in, Benj.
The great thing here is like we really can do anything creatively we want with TV, with in demand, with on the radio, with on the different channels. That's the great thing about here. It's like you have almost unlimited potential if you make use of it. But I don't. To me, you guys, I don't understand. How should John have said it?
He should have said, you know what? I had a great time working with Howard.
That was
I never made the money that I made. But
should we be having this conversation instead of Gary?
Benji, what he did wrong was, I'm sorry, what he did wrong was he flat out seemed to be blaming Howard for his money situation. That's what he did wrong. I mean, if he feels that way, that's his problem. But I mean, I don't see where he's coming from on that. Do you see where he's coming from on that?
I understand that in some ways Howard represents the boss.
Right.
And represents it. And it's hard. I'm not saying, like, because I hate when people say to me, like, how much are you making? Like, oh, my God, look at how much Howard makes. Like, why aren't you, because that really does have nothing to do with it. But Howard, he represents the boss to you in lots of ways.
Well, of course, when you have somebody that's so highly visible, one of the weirdest incidents I had was after Howard had signed his deal, I was in a bar in my neighborhood, and I'm walking to the bathroom. This guy smacks me in the back, and he goes, "Hey, $500 million man." And I'm like, no. I work for the $500 million man.
Yeah. That's one thing people do not seem to understand. It's like, Gary probably had the same thing. I had the same thing happen to me. It was like there was a guitar shop that I walked into one time, and I'm not going to say the name because I still go there, and he's a sweet guy or whatever. He says, "Hey, come here," and he takes me upstairs and he shows me this Les Paul, and it's a beautiful Les Paul. It's mint. It's a 1958, right off the line, never been molested. It's got all the wiring intact. $500,000. And I look at him and I hand him back the guitar. I go, "Dude, I can't afford this." "Oh, I just saw that thing in the paper." No, dude, that ain't me.
Right.
And I felt bad for him because it was like he thought that, that some, a couple of crates of money fell off the truck and I was entitled to it. I'm making a good living. But, the fact of the matter is I'm happy doing what I'm doing, and I enjoy getting paid when I'm paid.
But let's face it, John, Jackie, Riley Martin, they all have the same argument, the Jackie argument, which is Howard has all the marbles and he doesn't share them. I don't agree with that. I mean, Howard makes what he makes, we make what we make.
I talked about because you can walk away, because, that's the deal. That is the deal that you make. If you don't like that deal, then you move on.
Well, that's right. You only have yourself to blame for whatever predicament you're in, and you have the opportunity to say, this doesn't work for me anymore.
And you're right, and this doesn't represent Howard, but the thing is, like, you really do feel it's not completely what you're worth, but how well you negotiate is a lot of salary.
Well, that's why a lot of people have agents, because something, talent is not necessarily the best judge of what their value is. That's why, because you want to know something, talent will walk in, and a lot of times we'll probably just bend over and go, "Okay, fuck me in the ass, I just want the job." And that's what we do when we first get into radio. When you're making $150 a week, that's the reality. When I was listening to the Adam Carolla show, I was like shocked. I'm going like, dude, it's like, this is how radio works. Why are you now continue to go down this Vladimir Lenin path where all of a sudden you're part of this great collective and you're supposed to share in the wealth? That's not how business is run.
I got to say one more thing, just as long as we're on this John thing. The other person he has to blame for how much money he makes is himself. I mean, Tom Chiasano was his boss. He did not have a good relationship with Tom. He got under Tom's skin all the time. Right. He was a horrible negotiator. He used to go in. Remember, he used to every single joke he ever wrote, he used to keep on a piece of paper in a drawer. And then once a year at race time, he just carried the drawer up to Tom's office and dumped the papers out and go, "Look what I did." And, come on. At some point, you got to take responsibility. Like, don't piss off your boss.
Yeah, John got to a point where he figured he wasn't going to get any money out of Tom, so he was just going to make Tom's life miserable.
No, when you write the script to Die Hard and you dump the scripts on the desk and say, "This is what I wrote," you don't take a bunch of scrap papers and Post-its up and to negotiate with.
But, Benji, I want to go back to something that you said, and this is one of the things that I talk to people a lot. How many of your friends do you know who feel that they're paid enough? You know,
of course.
Anybody who's in their car right now listening, do you feel like you're paid enough? No one ever feels like they're paid enough.
That's true.
It's just the way life is. Is there anybody sitting out there that goes, my God, I'm overpaid?
Yeah,
no.
But what you're saying is like Howard even said today. Howard even said today. And first of all, I want to preface this by saying Howard will back you up with management, I think, above and beyond his duty. But Howard even said today he thought John was making more than he should have compared to other people on the show.
And it's how do you evaluate that? In other words, I got a guy who, like you, are a perfect example. So at the time, you were making less than John was making. You were my researcher and a writer on the show, coming in at 5 in the morning, staying up all night and researching. So now you've got extra money. Do you move it to Benji? Do you, Tom says, I've got this much money, who's valuable in the organization? And Howard,
there's only so many marbles.
Right, yeah, and that's the point I want to bring back, by the way. I knew you reminded me of something. I think Howard had talked about this, but, Jackie got himself into this weird situation. After we started picking up markets, we picked up Philly, picked up D.C., Jackie thought he got fucked in that deal. Then we picked up L.A., and we knew the markets were going to start coming in, and Jackie had made this proposal where he wanted a percentage of every new market that we went into. And Howard goes like, how did I get into business with Jackie? Like, how did Jackie become my partner? And I sort of understood that. Like, you can say, hey, if we get 10 markets, I think I'm worth a raise. But Jackie wanted a percentage put to each market. I'm not even sure if it were by population. But, it's a weird thing.
What a great concept. So you mean the deal that Howard and his agent work out, do all the work on, and then he wanted a cut of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing I noticed is that Ralph was really, really hard.
And I got an issue. Ralph's on the phone, and I got an issue with Ralph, too. And I'm going to say it, and then Ralph will explain it. Ralph has never wavered in how he's felt about John. He's called him a fucking lowlife and a fucking dirtbag and the whole thing. But if you feel that way about somebody, how do you go to their house and sleep there knowing that you don't like them? Ralph?
Ralph Sorella, you're on the wrap-up show.
Happy days are here again.
Yeah, you were like, finally.
I have, not a lot of things bother me, but every time Howard get on the air and say John's a good guy, and he's not pissed at him for the whole Tonight Show thing, I didn't get it, and I just drove me nuts. And oh my God, I couldn't. It made my day, my week, my life. And I'm definitely overpaid, and I think I make more than enough.
Well, answer Gary's question, Ralph.
What's your question, Gary? I don't understand that question.
In other words, you've always disliked John after he left, and you thought it was a bullshit move.
Here's the thing with John. You touched upon it. The negatives for me outweigh the positive. I mean, John could be fun to hang out with sometimes and things like that. And I had some good moments with him. But, the overwhelming, even when, I still didn't like certain things about him, but I hung out with him now and then. It wasn't like he was my best friend, like I called him up. He had a party at his house and everybody was going, so I went. You know what I mean?
But you stayed there, didn't you?
No. Yeah. And the final straw with me was when he was in I was in L.A. once, and, he had gotten the Tonight Show job, and I was like, you know what? I'll try and feel happy for him. I'll let go of some of this bitterness I have towards him, and I'll get together with him. Congratulations and whatever. So I go over to see him, and the entire time it was so annoying because he's like, don't tell Howard this, and don't talk about this, and it was like I don't even know what it was. It was like
he's always like that.
Yeah, I thought you're so fucking important. Who the fuck cares whatever you're doing this? I'm just trying to hang out. It's constantly don't tell Howard this.
But you know what?
Wait. So then I see Howard come back. You see Howard, and he goes, "Hey man," he goes, "I heard you went over John's house and you were an hour late and you had Sam Simon's car." And, so right away he goes and starts, talking about me. And I was like, you know what, that's typical John. He's a piece of shit. I'm done with him. Done. And, a couple quick points. You touched on it, Gary. It was a total fuck you to Howard to say that because it's going to get back to him, and he knows it's going to piss Howard off. So it really is. He's smart enough to know that this is going to drive Howard nuts. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's no way John worked on the show too long to think that he wasn't talking out of school.
So it makes it even more of a fuck you to Howard. And, National Lampoon bought his bad movie not because he's on the Tonight Show. It's because he was on the Howard fucking Stern show. And he,
So he never sold a movie when he was here.
So do you think he's doing this to get buzz about the movie?
No, he's not that smart.
No, I don't think it's worth the wrath.
It could be a thing, too, where John's trying to now make Hollywood connections. Now he feels like he has no allegiance to the show. I think he's just burning a bridge.
Yeah.
And I think this interview, I think, was symbolic of something.
Freddie,
you'd have to ask John what it meant.
Here's a question I have for you. We're all jumping on this, like, what John said. Do you think that in John's mind, he thinks he didn't say anything that wrong?
Yeah, I do. I think he doesn't think he said one wrong thing.
And
that's his opinion. This is something he's, and maybe it's a healthy thing for him to finally get it out into the open and let everybody see how he really felt. He really felt like, hey, I had value. I felt like I was underpaid. I was undervalued. That may or may not be true, but I think to throw the entire blame at Howard's feet was really wrong.
Yeah, and he was alluding to like Howard should pay him out of his fucking pocket for his scary talent.
But the other thing I'm surprised at, Ralph, and I don't know if you listened to it and all, did you feel like Adam was leading him on?
You know what?
He was, but you don't have to take the water.
When you guys said that, I maybe a little bit, but like, Adam has always called him stern, stern. And I know Adam
But
was
it surprised me because I always thought Adam was, again, it shouldn't surprise me because, again, Adam seems to, burn people that maybe have been nice to him,
and
even his own parents.
Maybe John and Adam had this conversation, and he knew that was, harboring, and, he was sort of asking the question to make John say it and lead him down the road.
Or I guess it's just...
I would rather Adam lead him down the road and John expose himself for what a piece of shit he is, which is great. Happy days. One last question. Why are you still, is he still going on Bubba?
Well, I said earlier in the show that, Brent emailed me and said, should we get rid of him? And I said, no, I want him to go on because I'd like to hear John's response. And I told those guys, like, don't trash him, don't give him a hard time. John's never going to call us and explain himself. But so I'd like to hear him. I'd like to hear his explanation on Bubba.
Did Howard?
Yes, he's aware of that.
Oh God, I say no. Keep him off. Get rid.
Why, Ralph?
Because he's saying fuck you to Howard. Yet, hey, let me go on my channels and on your channels and promote my piece of shit movie that's going direct to video.
Well, also I heard somebody say that the Howard Stern Show title is prominently displayed at the beginning of his trailer.
Oh yeah. It's got clips from the Stern Show in the beginning of his piece of shit movie.
So I mean,
Ralph, have you seen the movie?
I saw the trailer. And I don't have to sit in a fire to know it's hot.
There you
go. Cha-ching.
Ralph, thank you for calling the wrap-up
Socrates
show.
Sorella.
Closing.
Greg Fitzsimmons, you're on the wrap-up show.
Hey, Greg, it's Gary, man. How you doing?
Good. What's going on, Gary? What's this shit? You email me, call me.
We'll talk about that later. And I know you want to talk about the Dave Navarro thing, but one of the reasons I picked you up is because we're in the middle of this John discussion. Wasn't there a period of time that you were on tour with John? Did you ever do the John show?
Stuttering John and
Friends? I wouldn't say on tour, like we're in a Winnebago watching, Eddie Murphy movies and smoking pot. I did like 2 or 3 isolated dates where it was like Artie, John, me. I think that was pretty much it. I think it was always me, Artie, and John on these shows.
And how did, because we were talking today about how some comedians felt that they were like, it was weird for them that John got the lion's share of the money, and unbelievably seasoned comedians like you and Nick didn't do that well. Were you happy with the way it all turned out for you?
Well, anytime I do stand-up, I mean, I have a price that I'm happy when I get, and that's when I show up. And if it's not the money that I want, I don't show up. I don't really care. I mean, starting out in comedy, that was my philosophy then, and it still is. Back then, it was $25, and if somebody wanted to pay me $20, I didn't do the gig. So in this case, he paid me what I expect to get paid for that amount of time in that place. And I don't really give a shit what anybody else is making. It's not really my business.
All right, I was just curious.
So what's up with Dave Navarro?
Well, I've challenged him to fight me several times now, and no response. And then I just got an email from the publicist of the AVNs that he is inviting me to come on his radio show, which I didn't know he had a radio show.
It's an internet show.
Yeah, it's on Mania TV, I think, or something like that.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, so I said I won't go on the show, but I will fight him.
First of all, it's an interesting idea because I think that you guys might be in the same weight class.
Yes, I think we are, but Irish against Mexican to me, that's a good fight because the Irish guy is not going to do much in the first couple rounds except get angry. The Mexican guys can just wear himself out, and then the 4th round is where it all goes down.
If he doesn't make you bleed, though.
Just make sure it's one-on-one.
I'm a bleeder. But, no, I don't know. If he wants to go mixed martial arts, that's fine. Boxing's fine. But I'm just looking forward to the fight. But there'll be no radio shows. I have nothing to talk to the guy about.
Fair enough. All right, Greg, call me after the show.
All right, and I also just wanted to say, in terms of the money, I think that the answer to, like, whether or not anyone's getting paid what they deserve is the fact that Stuttering John went on to make that kind of money on The Tonight Show. I mean, it's like the fountain of wealth at the Howard Stern Show, and if you can dip your toe in it, and then you have the balls to go out and make some more money, whether it's going out to comedy clubs on the weekend or getting a job somewhere else, then that's where you make your money. I mean, it's called capitalism. You're worth what you negotiate. You're not worth. Nobody has an inherent value. There's no price tag on your toe.
No, I understand what you're saying. That's what we've been saying. You know,
yeah.
he decided what he was worth and he accepted it.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Greg.
All right, thanks.
Thank you, Greg.
All right, thanks, man.
Take it easy. All right, Teddy, let's take a break. We were talking more about the John stuff during the break, and I think we should stay with it because
it's a hot topic.
We can't let it go. Let's go to Joe in North Carolina has been waiting a while. Joe, you're on the wrap-up show.
Hey, John, Gary. First-time caller. First thing, as far as Ralph goes, if Bin Laden had a beach house in L.A., Ralph would be there. But
what's he address?
as far as John, he's a student of Howard Stern. I mean, he knows this is how nobody's paying attention to John right now, being on the Tonight Show. This is how he's getting his name out there for this movie. I didn't know he had a movie until this morning.
I want to say that John's got this unbelievable mind and he's devious and everything like that, but I just don't think it's in him, and I don't see him ruining the relationship with Howard. I just don't see it. I'm going more to the idea that John doesn't really think he said anything that wrong. I really don't think he purposely...
How could you work for the show for so long and see this happen so many times with so many other people and not have one inkling, one thought that you might piss this guy off?
Julie, that is a conundrum.
Thanks for your call, Joe. Let's go to Utah and talk to Jeff. Jeff, you're on the wrap-up show.
Yeah, hey, I was just had a thought. What kind of effect do you think, having Howard really pissed at you could, do to his career, and if things would dry up, or, what kind of effects, like just having Howard mad at you like that?
I don't know about his career, but I think you pose a good question. This is going to get back to John, obviously.
Oh, it's already. We were already deciding this morning. Had one of everyone's got that asshole friend that thinks they're doing you a favor,
right?
And you better wake up, turn on Howard now. So somebody called him, and I believe John was up at the crack of dawn this morning.
All right, so he gets that call. He hears what's talking about.
And by the way,
maybe the stuff that Howard said about Suzanne talking to Beth, a lot of stuff came out.
Right.
How does he react to that?
I think he's crushed. I think he doesn't want that. I think he'd rather not have the conflict. I think he's pissed off because he doesn't think he said anything that wrong, and he's going through that first stage where I can't believe I've got the wrath of Howard coming down on me when I didn't even fucking do anything. And then, as the day goes on, here's the other thing, too. Okay, we don't have the audience we once had, but still, there's a lot of audience. And John is going to go through his day, and people are going to react to him, and he's got to react back
because
to it.
He works in a town. Look, you look at all the statistics. Sirius is big in in the Northeast. It's big in California. It's just
big in the industry.
It's big where people commute, and especially that's an industry town. Look, he got his job as a result of the Howard Stern show.
Right.
Let's forget all about his winning personality and everything else. It's forget that. The show is what got him to where he is, and he should thank his lucky stars every day that he ever passed through these doors, because it's been a great thing for him. It's been a great thing for all of us. But I think people are going to go up to him and say, hey, what did you do to piss off Howard? I think that will get to him.
I think that I think that his next move is going to be to try to have a conversation with Howard off the air via his wife calling Beth, and that door is going to be slammed immediately.
That sounds like something that would be a chicken shit move. It's like if you're going to go and say something on the air, and do that. That's one thing. If you said it on the air, then you should be the guy that faces it. But don't get your mommy to
It's more of John delegating.
But the other thing is that I think that if John has the number that John had for Howard 6 years ago still works. And if John called that number, I think that he would get a fucking earful. And I think that he would call under the premise, let me try to smooth this over, and I think he would just get an earful. I don't think Howard's looking for anything to be smoothed over.
All right, so if you're John, what do you do?
Right.
Do you go on Bubba today? Do you lay low? What do you do?
I would probably go on Bubba today, and unless I really feel like fuck Howard, then at that point, what's the point? But if he feels like he didn't say anything wrong or that it was misinterpreted, I would go on Bubba today and start with that.
How do you get that number?
What's that?
How do you get that number?
You get it through me, and I'm not giving it out. How many years have you been with us?
10.
At 15, it's yours.
It's a gold watch. Mary in Ohio, you're on the wrap-up show. Mary?
Mary.
Ooh. All right, Mary hung up. Let's try Atticus in Pennsylvania. Atticus, you're on the wrap-up show.
Atticus Finch.
Hey, great show, guys. I just wanted to ask Gary or Fred, do you think there's any part of John that is upset that he didn't come with you guys to Sirius?
I think the answer is no, and I'll tell you why. Because I think that John could have come here and maybe gotten close to similar money. Yeah. But I think that what he got at the Tonight Show that he never got from us, that's an underlying thing, is an amazing amount of respect. You got to understand something. John's parking spot is next to Jay's. John's got his own parking spot. He walks into his office where he has an assistant. He's got a full wardrobe from Armani, and they treat him, you know
what it's like?
You don't come to work at where John works and get made fun of.
It's like being George W. Bush. That for John, that's what it is. It's like almost like the same sort of mentality. It's like it's like, how did he get that job?
But here we'll always fuck with him because we fuck with everybody. It's not that we're gonna fuck with John because he's John. I still get fucked with. And there, John never has to worry about that. So I think that
Jay didn't do anything.
I think he's got the money,
John's a good guy,
the respect, and the perks that are all good. I mean, the only thing that I think is missing for John, and I don't think it's that big a deal, is the creativity. I think John's willing to make that trade-off. I'm not insulting him. I'm thinking, you know what? I got this great setup. I'm pretty happy with it.
Now, Gary, we spoke before. You initially were jealous about what happened with John and his success financially, whatever else. Fred, were you ever jealous, but like envious? Did you ever begrudge him when it first started out?
I mean, dumbfounded. That's the word you're looking for. I'm kind of going like, I mean, I've worked with John for a lot of years. And I wrote a lot of great questions for him. Thank you, John. Thanks for thanking me when you left. But no. It's like, what? It's a crazy industry, and, if people think you're hot, they're going to throw money at you and go for it.
That's a more interesting question, actually, Fred. Somewhere along the line, I mean, you and Jackie and Howard wrote most of the questions, and I would say it would be fair to say that mostly you and Jackie wrote them. And it did get to this weird point where John was almost out there as if he forgot that he didn't write them.
That comes through a lot, and it's like, and even in the interview, it's very funny. It's like, it's like when Adam. I mean, look, it's going to happen. It's like when somebody plays a role in a movie. They say Marlon Brando did the lines. They're not going to think of like who was the screenwriter. So look, you're the face. You're the person that said the lines. I think the problem that I had was like John having absolutely like no respect for me whatsoever. Number one, and then basically just going hey more questions, dude. Sometimes that made it a little hard to write.
Garrett, did you think that John had zero respect for Fred?
I don't think he didn't respect Fred's ability to write, but I think there was something that went on between them where there was a lack of respect. I think he respected Fred creatively, but I think he also was mad at Fred for goofing on him on the air.
But that's what I do.
Right.
See, that's the thing that I could never understand.
He thought you were out to get him.
And you know something? I was not. And I think that's maybe what started having an effect on our relationship, because I was talking to John about that this morning. It's like, because John reminded me of that. It's like where John's mantra was, Fred hates me, Fred hates. Fred doesn't hate. Like I said, it's one of those words that I, use for certain people. Maybe Osama bin Laden and Don Imus. That's pretty much it, and they're pretty much the same person to me. But, when it comes to John, I didn't hate him. But I began to find there was, like, a resentment coming back. And like he would do little underhanded things to make me look less than, like a good person. And that kind of bothered me.
Do you agree with Gary that he respected you creatively?
No, I don't think John respects anybody. I really don't. I thought Howard he might respect. But I don't think he respects.
That went out the window today.
Listen, there's no doubt that having the balls to ask the questions that John was given was a key part of what made him funny to the show. But, we've seen what people do in a similar situation when they don't have Fred's questions.
Right.
You know what I mean? You can't discount that.
It's taken a lot of years of crafting to think of stupid questions that will, it's like, I don't know, it's a weird badge of honor that you take, it's like, did Governor Clinton use a condom? I mean, that became part of the war room. And I hear that question, and you hear that guy laughing in the background. I kind of consider that, wow, that was like a fucking touchdown pass.
And I think without the creative writing, you don't need the question of balls to ask the question is a moot point. I think with the writing, if you write something that'll give you douche chills to ask somebody,
you know what's always amazing to me too is like I always used to like, and I don't know if it was, it's one of those things I used to go, okay, what's the question the most benign question that I could write that's going to piss somebody off? And another one of those questions that I wrote that I absolutely love because it pissed them off is Tommy Lasorda. It was about, does it bother you that those stupid Canadians won the World Series? Stupid Canadians? Let me tell you, buddy. Right. And he went off on a tirade. So it's like you tried to craft a specific question because John, I mean, look, I don't know if John knew what questions were going to get him yelled at or thrown out or maybe possibly punched. But I kind of had an idea. This is a hot button question for this personality because, Tommy Lasorda is Mr. Baseball. You can't call them stupid Canadians. He thinks he's the fucking, UN ambassador.
Right. I don't want to take anything away from Fred's brilliant writing, but surely what you said before, I do think John deserves credit for the way he asked those questions. He definitely made it his own. I mean, he didn't write them, but he had a style. He had a huge set of balls.
But there's two versions of that. The early John, which was beautiful because I took him out and I loved it. The early John didn't understand any of the questions on the page and just would read them right down the page. And if he got yelled at, he didn't care. But sometimes John would be shocked. Like, one of my perfect examples was, I think in the second interview we sent him out, he says to Ali Sheedy, who was bulimic, have you thrown up lately? But he doesn't know why he's asking. No clue why he's asking.
Right. And that doesn't take balls. Not knowing doesn't take balls.
When the Marx Brothers used to write lines for Margaret Dumont, and they would like kind of goof on her.
But then after he did it for a while, he totally understood it. And then there's the John that knew exactly what he was doing. And listen, there's a John who is stuck in a revolving door with Imelda Marcos at the height of her fucking fame, and is asking her, did she ever fart and pass gas and blame it on the family dog? Now, that's a brilliant question that Fred wrote, but John's got the fucking balls to get in a revolving door with her, and she can't move it. So that's where everything comes to perfection. Do we agree?
Yes. Fred?
I agree with that.
Yeah. He did ask Ringo.
Right, he knew what he was asking Ringo. Like at that point, he knew.
What did you do with the money? Exactly. Money for what? Singing lessons.
I mean, really.
That might have been a Jackie line.
That was a Jackie line, because Jackie spent the whole day going, "We fucked with the Beetle! We fucked with the Beetle!"
That'll be on his tombstone.
After the question was asked, he heard,
Tom in Chicago, you're on the wrap-up show.
Hey, I really hated John when he was on the show, just because I hated that whole mentality of whenever he got backed into a corner, he would immediately throw somebody under a bus, and he would throw as many people as he could to get the heat off of himself. And I used to hate people like that, in my own life. I mean, I know people like that, and I just stay away from them because they're.
But again, not to defend John, but didn't you love what happened after he threw the people under the bus?
No, because he would create an artificial situation to get people, yelled at.
Yes and no. John kept stuff in his back pocket to throw you under the bus. And there's a group of guys here who will tell you, having Richard and Sal here is great, and Howard will say, John left and we got the money for Richard and Sal. But there's a group of guys here who will tell you that they miss that John element of the show. That everybody that worked here never knew when they were going to get fucked by John.
And the best thing about it was, while all this fucking was going on, you hear that laugh coming out of John, and it was just like such an asshole laugh, like, aha, look what I did type of thing. That was one of my favorite things about John. That, and when Fred would do the impression of him and get him to lock up his face. That was my other favorite.
I told John to his face after I went out to dinner with John after he left the show, and I was telling John, like, John was actually putting a strain on my marriage because he was constantly making fun of how pussy whipped I was and this and that, and it was his go-to thing because it was my Achilles heel, and it was like making my life miserable at home. I would go home, my wife would be like, "Why is John?" But she was never mad at. She loved John. That's the fucked up thing. She thought John was the greatest guy in the world. Where is John getting these ideas from? Is he getting them from you? Nope, honey, not from me.
Your wife has a pattern. Sal's busted your balls for years. She loves Sal, too.
That's a good point, Sean.
Yeah.
I'm looking into that.